Blog Talk Radio in high fidelity.
Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter podcast, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorda, and I'm here with my co-host, Ringside Robert, and England's adopted son, Joe Habib. And we have a great show for you today. And as always, you can catch us on the web at ringsidereporter.com. If you want to call and ask questions, you can call in now at 323-870-3857. And we'll be here till about 9 o'clock tonight. Today, we're going to talk about Lomachenko versus Guillermo Rigondeaux is set, and we have all the details. Robert, a lot of people hate this fight, man. I love this fight.
Well, I think for the boxing point of view, the thing like that, it'll bring out different things in Lomachenko. But for the casual fan, they're going to hate this fight. Just because Rigondeaux to most casual fans is not pleasing.
Absolutely. Well, let me tell you who is very pleasing to the casual fans. Anthony Joshua, and he sells out 70,000 seats in the UK for his next fight. We'll have all the information on that. We have not one, two train wrecks of the week. I bet you can guess what one is. And the real story here out of both of these train wrecks of the week is that neither one of them involved Adrian Broner. How about that? But first, we get started with the big one. HBO pay-per-view, Triple G versus Canelo. We waited a long time for this fight, and let me tell you what, it didn't disappoint. Canelo took control in the first 3 rounds and seemed to really outbox Triple G, to be honest, man. He was just quicker. He moved better. However, the tide started to turn for me as I'm watching this fight in the 4th round. Canelo started backing up. He spent more and more time along the ropes. By the middle rounds, each round started to look like the next as Triple G just backed up Canelo, worked him along the ropes, and Canelo was almost to the point of running backwards at times. I actually thought about the Julio Cesar Chavez and Hector Camacho fight. I thought it looked a lot like that at times in those middle rounds, especially. And honestly, quite honestly, just throughout the fight. Canelo would land a good punch and then largely go on the defensive for the entire round. Triple G seemed to box a lot more than we're used to, but he landed effective shots throughout, man. The announcers talked about him not landing the power shots, not landing the big KO shots, and I disagree with that. He did land less KO-type shots than we're used to, but Canelo is a slick fighter. A lot of people, coming into this, they didn't give Canelo a lot of credit for his defense, and I always knew, and this is what we talked about on the show, that he's a very good defensive fighter, and that's the thing. And everybody talks about he has bricks in his legs and everything. Like, listen, the guy can move. He's hard to hit. He's a slick fighter. So he doesn't always get credit for it, but he's very solid defensively. I think it was around the 9th round, somewhere in there, Canelo hit Triple G with the same right hand that put Amir Khan out. It was a perfect counter right that hit Triple G square on the chin. I quoted, as said it on Wednesday on our special show, I said that if Canelo clips Triple G with that same shot that he hits Amir Khan with, Triple G is going to go. Anybody will go. You cannot stand up to that shot. Wow, was I wrong? Triple G looked at Canelo, didn't even flinch, and the worst part is that he just kept coming forward. I mean, it didn't even stop him in his tracks. He just kept moving. He moved right through it. And that was about as solid as a shot as you're going to see. In fact, if you go to at Ringside 73 on Twitter, I've got the photo. Somebody had posted a side-by-side image, two of the animated GIFs. One side you have Canelo hitting Triple G with that big right hand. The other side you have Canelo hitting Amir Khan with that right hand. And you see, I mean, it's the exact same shot. It's amazing. But yeah, go check it out. The shots that both guys took during this fight was incredible. And I've never seen Canelo look like that at the end of the fight. I mean, both of those guys look a lot worse for the wear. At the end of the day, the scores were 115, 113 for Triple G, 114, 114 draw, and 118 to 110 by Adalaide Byrd for Canelo Alvarez.
She should be the fucking train wreck of the week.
It's funny you mentioned that, Robert. Everyone except Stevie Wonder and CJ Ross thought this was a lousy score, okay? Now, the runner-up train wreck of the week this week is Adalaide Byrd for her scorecard. I have no idea what Adalaide Byrd was watching. I can get behind the fact that she thought Canelo won. I don't agree, but okay, it's definitely plausible. But not by 10 rounds. Not 10 rounds to 2. I mean, that's ridiculous. In my opinion, it's pretty clear, just my opinion, there's there's something there, man. Either she got paid, there was something going on there. I don't know whether she got paid or not, but I tell you what, we should get rid of Adalaide Byrd, man, for sure. And don't stop there.
Hey,
Dump Robert Byrd, too, because he sucks, too. The Nevada State Athletic Commission, quiet.
To put it simply, Eric, if CJ Ross can lose her license over the Canelo Mayweather draw, then Adalaide Byrd should lose her ability to ever judge a fight again, period.
Well, that may be, but the Nevada State Athletic Commission said that Byrd had a quote-unquote bad night, and that's putting it mildly. So there you go. I mean, that's really putting it mildly. So CJ Ross did lose her license off of that Canelo, the Canelo Mayweather fight, right? I don't see why.
She's never judged again.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, and I can, we can make an argument for a 115, 113 for Canelo, right? I mean, we can make that argument, and you have that score, but
that's right.
But the thing is, I can't make an argument. I can even make an argument for 118, 110 for Triple G. I can't make a 118, 110 argument for Canelo. I can't do it.
No,
can't do it. You cannot do that.
Well, here's the thing. He made a statement, Bob Bennett, and he says, you take everyone in this room, and everyone here at least had one bad night in their respective careers. Okay, so if a doctor has a bad night, and he has one bad night, and he cuts off the wrong leg of a diabetic patient, that's a big bad night. I mean, he could be a master surgeon, right? But make that one mistake, and that ruins his career. No one will ever, go to him for surgery again. So yeah, it was a bad night, but it was a real bad night in a real big fight, and at the wrong time. And that's the thing. So you can't really. Anyone that tried to minimize what she did last night, they sound foolish. Like De La Hoya was trying to minimize it. Oh, well, she's a good judge, has a ton of experience, but she does have a checkered past. Bob Bennett, she has a ton of experience. She's had over 200-something championship fights or whatever, 100-something championship fights, whatever. But does it matter? That cannot erase what she did last night. That was beyond egregious, beyond inept, beyond incompetent what she did last night. It really was. It was just disgusting what she did last night. I honestly thought here that there were 4 clear rounds in this fight for Triple G and 3 clear rounds in this fight for Canelo. And I think rounds 5, 6, 7, and 8 were clear Triple G rounds. And I think rounds 2, 3, and 12 were clear Canelo rounds. So there were 5 swing rounds in this fight. So if you gave every single swing round to Canelo, then you could possibly have a 116, 112 scorecard for Canelo. That's a stretch. Every bit of benefit of the doubt that you could possibly muster. And if you do the same thing for Triple G, then you can even have this as wide as 9-3 for Triple G if you wanted to, but that's a stretch too. I think, 115, 113 either way or a draw is fine. I truly believe that. But that other scorecard was horrible. It was really bad. It was horrific.
Can I jump in here? Let me ask you both a serious question here. Was this Adalaide Byrd having a bad night, or was there some jerkery going on here?
Well, remember, Eric, I said on last week's show or on Wednesday's show, I was concerned about the judging.
You did.
Because
you did. You absolutely did.
When it comes to Canelo, the judges, especially in Las Vegas, always give him, benefit of the doubt, or they give him more rounds than what he deserves in a lot of cases. I can't. When I heard who the judges were, I was very concerned about Adalaide Byrd and Dave Moretti. I thought if it went the full 12 rounds, like I thought it was going to, I thought Canelo had a home ring advantage just because of those two judges. Now, luckily, Dave Moretti actually had what I think to be a right scorecard. So I can't criticize him, but I was very concerned going into this fight, if it wins the distance, with those two judges, especially judging this fight. I swear, when there is a rematch, it needs to be located anywhere else but Las Vegas, Nevada. Yeah, because you cannot allow these Nevada judges to have influence over a fight like this. This is horrible. Now, the other two judges, Dave Moretti from Nevada, Don Trella from Connecticut, they scored a fair fight. I don't have any problem with their scorecards, but there's no excuse for Adalaide Byrd here. There is no excuse. And if C.J. Ross, who did not have the experience that Adalaide Byrd has, can lose her license over calling a fight a draw that was basically a whitewash for Mayweather over Canelo, then I think the same treatment are to occur here to Adalaide Byrd. Period.
I don't think. Do you think there's going to be a rematch?
Yeah, I think there will be a rematch.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. Yeah,
I'm not sure. I think you can mark it down for next May, Cinco de Mayo.
Well, this is the thing. Go back and watch that post-fight press conference.
Yep.
One of the reporters asked, I think it was Oscar. Yes, Oscar. Is there a rematch clause? And Oscar said yes. And then another reporter said something to the effect of, he's asking a question to I think who's the matchmaker? Eric Gomez. He's asking a question to Eric Gomez. And he jumped in and said, yeah, there's a rematch clause, but Oscar did not say that he was going to exercise it. So they weren't really 100% sure or definitive that they were going to exercise this rematch clause. Even Canelo, when asked, he said, well, if the people want it, we'll do it again. He didn't emphatically say, yeah, I want to fight him again. Golovkin said he wanted to fight him again, but Canelo didn't seem too keen on fighting Golovkin again. I'm sure, he's not concerned about doing it, but I think he has some reservations, maybe, who knows? And Golden Boy seems to have some reservations. I'll tell you this, I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo fought Cotto in a rematch and you see Golovkin fight Billy Joe Saunders. That wouldn't surprise me. It really would.
Well, that wouldn't bother me either, because let's say Cotto and Canelo fight in December, okay? And Triple G fights Billy Joe Saunders in December, and Triple G beats Billy Joe Saunders and gets the fourth belt. Then they could have their rematch in May for every single belt in the division.
Yeah, well, not only that though, there's still a bad taste in everyone's mouth about that 118-110 scorecard, and it's horrible, because I'm going to say something right now. I was right about a lot of things last night, and I was actually right about more things last night than I was wrong about. But you know what? The things that I was right about during the fight, and it didn't matter, because Canelo, I have to give him credit, because I was right that he would go back to the ropes. I was right that he wouldn't throw a lot of punches. I was right that he would get tired. I was right that Triple G could take his punches. But here's some of the things I was wrong about. I said that Canelo had faster hands, but the speed was comparable. Much faster than Triple G's last night. Much faster. I also said that Canelo, when he went back to the ropes, he would get hit a lot and he would get ripped to the body. I was wrong about that. Canelo, I think, did some great things last night. I think I underestimated his defensive reflexes. I thought that he did make Triple G miss a lot, not because of his foot movement, but because of his upper body movement. And I think Triple G was a little bit tentative last night, not because of Canelo's power, but because of Canelo's hand speed. I think he had a hard time gauging Canelo's hand speed. I think he was a little bit weary of that right-hand counter from Canelo. And when Canelo went back to the ropes, make no mistake about it, he was looking for a breather. And when he was on those ropes, people want to compare that, oh, he's fought like Mayweather. He had the Mayweather strategy. Mayweather used to go back to those ropes. And, if Triple G was sitting there, throwing those touch jabs, even though he was touching Canelo, but not really landing a ton of significant shots. But he was touching him. In between those jabs, Mayweather would be jabbing to the body himself. He would be mixing in a right-hand counter, in between those jabs. Canelo just stood there on the ropes. He was looking for a breather. Golovkin missed, but he wasn't making him pay. Canelo did his best work in the center of that ring. And I'm going to say another thing, too. That 12th round made me respect Canelo 50 times more than I ever respected. That was probably the best round of Canelo's career. And then you can sit there and say, Beeb, what are you talking about? He's fought more dominant, more successful rounds than that. Best round. Because I'm going to look at what transpired before then, and I'm going to look at the circumstances and the situation he was in. He was tired. He faded, I thought, from rounds 4 to 9. And then he started picking it up in the 10th, and I actually thought the 11th, it was kind of an even round. But that 12th round, that fight was on the table. And, he seemed like he was really fatigued, like he really couldn't do much more. I'm not saying he looked like he was in danger of getting stopped, but it looked to me like he was going to probably just try to be a little bit defensive, not try to expend himself too much to make himself get even more tired, and also not put himself in harm's way, because I thought he was fatigued and that would somewhat compromise him in that round. But he put his foot on the gas pedal in that round, and he fought his ass off, and he fought his heart out. So that round really, really made me admire this young man more so than I've ever admired him. I've always respected him. I know people say, Beeb, you're a Canelo hater. You always pick against him, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is this, he leaves so many rounds on the table because he fights in spurts, and he takes so much of the round off. He puts himself in this situation. You have to say, yeah, he landed 2 or 3 good shots, but he did it in such a short span of time. And, he didn't do much more after that. So he leaves rounds on the table. It's hard to give him a definitive round when he's in these fights with these top-level guys. He allowed this 118 to 110 scorecard take away from anything he did? No. Should we allow it to take away from anything Triple G did? No. Shine a big cloud over this whole fight and this promotion. And I don't know who to blame. I don't know. But the thing is this, every time he fights a top-level guy in a big fight, and it's close, which there's been competitive fights, the Trout fight, the Lara fight, and even in the Mayweather fight, that wasn't competitive at all. You had that 114-114. And even that Cotto scorecard where I thought Canelo won the fight, but I thought it was much more competitive than the scoring suggested. And then you had a huge wide scorecard there. It happens too often. You have to ask yourself, why does this guy win every close fight that he's been in? And why is there always one scorecard in those fights? Right. And I can't answer that. And no one else can answer that. And you have to say to yourself, is it corruption? Is it incompetence? Is it ineptitude? What is it? What is it? Because there's something wrong. Right. And unfortunately, that scorecard ruined this fight. It really did. Because now people are saying, why should there even be a rematch? Because the same thing's going to happen again. People were walking out of that arena last night saying those things. Ellie said that was putting microphones in people's in their faces and their mouths, and they were saying, I don't want to see this again. And we should be wanting to see this fight again. We should be like, yeah, bring it on again.
I have
Well,
no
you
People don't
desire
want to see it
to
now.
out of
fight
Las
again.
Vegas. You got to
Yeah.
take it out of Las Vegas.
Yeah. Let's go to the phones.
And
oh.
okay.
Let's go to the phones real quick. This is Mike. Mike, 812, you're live.
What's up, Eric?
What's happening,
Hey,
man?
Mike,
How are
what's
you?
up?
What's up, Robert? Hey,
So you had
I can
Canelo
tell
winning
you
the
this.
fight too,
It's
right?
corruption, and it doesn't matter if it's in Vegas or San Antonio, which would be the backup plan. As long as Oscar De La Hoya is in charge of this, there's going to be corruption. I mean, his meal ticket is Oscar De La Hoya. I mean, how many other big-time fighters does he have? His meal ticket is Canelo.
Yeah.
And I can tell you this. I think any decision, and I respect you guys' opinion, whatever it was, any decision that had Canelo not winning that fight is nuts. I mean, what I saw was this. Golovkin controlled the fight with his jab. The first 3 rounds, he felt him out. Canelo got 2 of those first 3 rounds. I did give Triple G the first round just off the basis of his jab. But rounds 4 through 9, I mean, Canelo, to me, after the first 3 rounds, he wasn't backing into the ropes. He was using lateral movement. He was boxing his ears off, and I was really impressed. But he started breathing hard in the 4th round, and then he started backing to the ropes. And I think the one thing we've seen in a lot of Canelo fights, and the reason he fights the way you were talking, Eric, is because for some reason he gets tired quickly.
He does. He does.
Yeah. He
And
does,
the
you can
Adalaide
tell.
Byrd thing, I mean, she's a joke. She's done a couple MMA fights that were jokes. I mean, you know, Ruben Castillo, who I'm friends with, called me this morning. He was ranting, and he said, you know, anytime you get a woman judge in there, they're easier to buy them off.
You know
He
what?
said it takes less money. You give them a $500 gift card to Walmart, and they take it.
You know, there's got to be something to, like I said, man. I mean, there's got to be some corruption here because there's no way she saw that fight. None.
Yeah, because he's friends with Abel Sanchez. And he sent me a text Thursday morning, like Adalaide Byrd is one of the judges. He said, I'll guarantee you this will end up being a draw no matter what happens.
Wow.
You know, I mean, Dave Moretti was a guy that was screwing up decisions in 1983. I mean, these guys are there forever.
Well,
They're there forever because they're in the promoter's hip pocket.
That's why I said when the judges were announced, I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be handed to Canelo because of Adalaide Byrd and Dave Moretti.
Yeah, and the other thing is this: if you want to see about Adalaide Byrd, look up the Vasil Lomachenko-Nicholas Walters fight, and the way Lomachenko's camp went absolutely nuts when they found out she was one of the people keeping score. You know, they filed an injunction with the commission. They tried to do all this stuff, and the commission said, "Oh no, just every once in a while, everybody has a bad night." That was the excuse then too. So I don't buy that it's every once in a while somebody has a bad night. You know, I think that when somebody repeatedly has bad nights, they're either completely incompetent or they're bought off. And if she was completely incompetent, they'd get rid of her, but they need her so she keeps her job.
That's the thing. I mean, that's a it's a conspiracy theory, on both of our ends. Because, like I said, I mean, other than corruption, how do you explain that? You know what I mean? I can't really explain it.
A conspiracy theory, though, is only a conspiracy theory if there's not a amount of evidence. And there's a huge amount of evidence here that this is happening. It's boxing. I mean, you look back at, I think they fought in the Spectrum, Tyrone Everett and Alfredo Escalera. That was a fight, I think, in 73 or 74 that has proven it was bought off. And I mean, I see people say this is what's killing boxing today. It's never going to kill boxing because controversy still sells tickets. You know, and in the end, the guy that deserves the fight with Triple G is Daniel Jacobs.
Well, I totally agree.
Yeah,
he does
for sure.
deserve a rematch. I've said that all
along. There's
along.
money in fighting a black guy in Brooklyn. There's money in fighting, as you said, on Cinco de Mayo against a Mexican.
That's right. That's why I think if there's a rematch with these two, it will be Cinco de Mayo in May.
Well, I think this, Robert. I think if there's a rematch, it'll be the next Cinco de Mayo because I think they took this fight thinking Golovkin was shot, and they found out he wasn't.
Right.
So now let's wait another year. We can fight Cotto, make a lot of money. We can fight some other dude in between. We can let Golovkin maybe rematch Jacobs, and then if he can squeak by him, you get a Golovkin that may be a little more shop worn, and maybe he can hang with him.
Right.
I think they'll fight Saunders.
Even if you make money, Oscar De La Hoya doesn't make money if all of a sudden Canelo gets his ass knocked out. And I'm telling you this, from what I saw, and knowing who the trainer of both fighters are, I'm pretty sure that the next time you see Triple G in a ring with Canelo, you're going to see him go to the body a lot more. And if he'd have done that in the first 3 or 4 rounds last night, I think he would have stopped Canelo.
Well, I'm glad you covered that, Mike, because that was going to be my next point. If I was going to criticize anybody, I was going to criticize Abel Sanchez for not having Triple G go to the body. You know, with a guy like
though, Robert. Yeah. This is the thing, because I talked to Abel today.
Okay.
He was on our show like a month ago. But I talked to Abel today, and, you know, like he said, I can't jump in the ring and make him hit him in the body.
No.
He said he said that we went through training camp, he was supposed to hit him to the body. But I think for what I took from talking to him was that Triple G expected Canelo to be able to hit harder than what he did. And he didn't want to be reaching a jab down there and get caught with something. So you saw him around the 4th or 5th round. That's when he kicked it up. I think that's when he realized that, you know, this guy can't hurt me.
Yeah. Well, you know, Mike, it reminds me of both Klitschko brothers never wanting to go to the body. I wonder if that's an Eastern European thing where none of the Europeans.
Yeah, but Golovkin stopped people with body shots before.
I know that. But last night, he didn't do that.
I know. But he didn't do it against Jacobs hardly at all either. And those were people, and he did go to the body when you got the second half of the fight. Not as much as what he should have still. But what I'm saying is I think that Golovkin's a smart enough fighter. And I think the big spotlight is the first time he was ever in that. And a lot of times, the first time you're in a huge spotlight, it'll take your breath away. You don't think quite as right as what you normally do. Canelo had been in that spotlight before. I mean, hell, he fought Floyd Mayweather.
Right.
So I think in the end, I think that had a lot to do with this fight even being close. And I mean, to me, what I saw at Triple G, he does not look like he's aging. I think he just fought a guy in Daniel Jacobs, who I think, number one, would kick Canelo's ass. And number two, Daniel Jacobs has the perfect style to beat Golovkin.
Well, that's why I want to see the rematch. You know, because Daniel Jacobs, he's earned a rematch. And what pisses me off is the PBC has kept him out of the ring since then. I mean, you got to take advantage of a good fight like that. I don't understand how Heyman and company do their business over there. I really don't.
Well, unless they figure maybe Canelo's not getting an immediate rematch. I mean, they fought in what, February or March?
They fought in March,
if Jacobs get a shot in December or early next year, I mean, is it really worth risking it to fight somebody you're not going to get paid for?
Well, that's true, but I just don't like fighters sitting out of the ring, unless the fighters are choosing to do that themselves.
Hey, but Robert, if this is you and you fought in February and you almost beat this dude, and they tell you, well, let's not do anything for a year and we can make $5 million, or we can fight a tune-up fight and make $100,000.
Well, I see your point, Mike. I see your point, Mike.
Yeah, and the point is this: the point is to get paid no matter what your job is.
Right.
And to do it as safely as you can.
Yep.
And I know for boxing fans, it's really bad. But I can tell you this, if you're a football player or a boxer, you've ever done that at a high level, you'll understand that the risk sometimes is not worth the reward. So you got to make sure the reward's big.
I get your point, but I don't like it, but I get your point. You know?
I don't like it either. I just think it's true. There's a lot of shit that's true that I like. But hey, guys, I got to get off here. I got a show to do on my own. I got a college football show to do.
Awesome.
But I'll listen to the rest of this tonight after I get done with my show.
Very good, man.
Well,
Thank you for calling in, man.
For calling, Mike.
Absolutely. And
all right. See you guys later.
See you, man. That is Mike Goodpasser from gruelingtruth.com. So go make sure to check out the site. They've got some boxing stuff there, and they do all kinds of stuff on football and stuff. He's a great guy, great site. So yeah, go check him out.
Awesome work.
Yeah, I did a show, Eric, with him on Friday. We were talking about this fight. So.
Oh yeah. Absolutely, man. Yeah, they're really nice over there. Really good stuff. Always good stuff.
Yep.
So let me ask you this before we go back to the phone lines real quick. As far as a rematch goes, do you think number one, do you think there'll be a rematch? And number two, I mean, do you want to see it? I'll tell you from my vantage point, number one, I'm not sure if there is a rematch, but number two, I don't really have a big desire to see it because I don't want to feel ripped off again.
Well, that's the general consensus.
Yeah.
That's the general consensus out there.
Yeah. I mean, if it was, if we had a clear-cut score That would be fine. 115, 113 was a clear-cut score. 114, 114. We can all get behind. That's a clear-cut score. 118, 110 makes me think that somebody was bought off. You know what I mean?
Well, Eric, that's why I said the next time it's got to be out of Las Vegas. And wherever you put it, whether it's California, Texas, New York, you have to make sure there's no Nevada judges involved. Period.
Yeah, but you know what?
Because I know
it ain't going outside of
some
Las
of these
Vegas.
Nevada judges. I know some of these Nevada judges travel all over the place to do fights. You've got to make sure that some of these people don't get to judge some of these fights.
Yeah,
it's disgusting. It ruined the whole fight with her scorecard.
It did.
It really did.
It absolutely did.
Well, here's some things to think about, because you could tell that there was a lot of damage control being done by Golden Boy. They kind of looked like they were squirming in their shorts last night throughout that press conference. So we have to take a look at the pay-per-view numbers, number one, and number two, they got to see what happens in the next coming months. If this still is being talked about, if this continues to leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, and a lot of people are saying the same thing you're saying, Eric. Why do I want to see it again if I'm going to get ripped off again? And that's the thing. So that's why I think they'll probably go in a different direction. They'll fight maybe Cotto in a rematch. And also, I think Golovkin, will fight, as I said, Billy Joe Saunders. So that gives it a little bit more time to kind of die down and make people forget about it a little bit. And then maybe you could do this again later next year.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it'll be an immediate rematch.
No.
But I do think we will eventually see one.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's go back to the phones. This number is restricted, so let's see what we get here.
That might be Wood.
Is that Wood? I don't know.
What's up, fellas?
Yeah,
hey, Wood.
What's going on, buddy?
I was just trying to check out Beeb's breakdown and see where everything was, but I don't know, man. I was watching in a bad spot for one because I was at a barbershop. And, I didn't have anything to do any real scoring round by round, and I couldn't really hear it that great all night long. But like some of the people are saying in the chat room, man, I felt like all of this, or the majority of significant shots were all landed by Canelo. I felt like he made Triple G miss a lot. I didn't see enough wow shots from Triple G. And at the end of the fight, I just couldn't give it to the guy. I'm sorry, and I picked Triple G to win. I just couldn't see it for him, and some of the comments about him still being elite and everything. Now I gave him the fight against Jacobs. I scored it for him, but watching him last night, I feel like he's lost something. I mean, for Canelo to sit on the ropes and wave him in, and he doesn't go in there and work. He's the bigger man. I thought he fought a horrible fight, man. And like you guys just mentioned, I mean, not going to the body, I mean, that was a big part of it right there. But I just can't give him credit for coming forward all night and not, in my opinion, not really looking that great. Like, I didn't feel like he caught Canelo on a lot of, full extension at the end of the glove. I just didn't like how Triple G looked last night, man. I thought Canelo, like Beeb said, I praised the guy for his for being slick, for we already know what his combination punching in and his body work and everything. I had to tip my hat to Canelo.
Yep.
Well, we have to tip our hat to Canelo, but if Triple G would have done what he normally does in fights and gone to the body consistently,
but you got to give Canelo credit, man. You got to give Canelo credit for his counterpunching ability.
Yeah.
I underestimate it, and the big thing that I was off on here was the disparity in hand speed. Canelo's hands were much faster than Golovkin's last night. I knew he was faster hand speed wise. He was good with his upper body movement. I knew he was slick, but he was really sharp with his defensive reflexes. And Wood is 110% right, because Triple G wasn't turning his shots over. He wasn't everything into those shots. There was some hesitation, not because he was afraid of the power, but because he had a hard time dealing and timing those counters because of the hand speed.
Yeah, that speed.
I have to give Canelo credit. I was I was right that he would go to the ropes. I was right that he would get tired. I was right that Triple G would be able to walk through his shots, but I was wrong about Triple G being able to hurt him. And I was wrong about Triple G, pinning him up against the ropes and going to the body. I was wrong about those things. And I a lot of times we sit there and say, well, if the guy did what he normally does. Well, maybe the reason why he didn't do what he normally did was because the guy across from him did not allow him to do what he normally did. And we got to give Canelo credit, man. I'm going to give Canelo credit.
Yeah.
I thought he lost the fight. I did think he lost the fight, but he could have easily won the fight. It's plausible that you give him the decision. Really is. It's totally plausible. Some of those rounds you could have given it to him, and you could have ended up with a 115, 113 scorecard, 16, 112 if you really stretched it.
Maybe.
But draw is not out of the question. 115, 113 for Canelo is not out of the question. 118, 110, saying Triple G only won 2 rounds. I'm sorry, I can't see that. As repeating myself again, I'm going to say I think rounds 5 through 8 clear Triple G rounds. Rounds 2, 3, and 12 clear Canelo rounds. You have the 5 swing. Do what you want with them. Like I said, if you want to give every single swing round to Canelo, which is a stretch, then yeah, maybe 116, 112. But I think at the very least, this was a close fight. Could have gone either way. But we got to give Canelo. I'm going to give Canelo more credit than I'm giving Triple G, because Canelo really exceeded my expectations. I saw him get tired, but I really loved how he finished this fight in those championship rounds. His corner told him, son, you got to go for it. And you know what? He was dead tired. He willed himself in those last 3 rounds. That was an inspirational performance in those last 3 rounds, man. I got to give it to him. And I picked against him, man. We almost went bankrupt, man, last night. And it would have been Canelo's fault, but you know what? We still got to give Canelo credit. We don't hate on him. We're not going to hate on him today.
Heck, I picked Triple G and I gave the fight to Canelo. So
Yeah, I got to give Canelo credit, man. I am not going to hate on Canelo.
We're knocking Canelo left and right about being fatigued, but I felt like Canelo had to do more. He had to exert more energy and do more stuff to stay competitive in the fight.
Yeah.
Like you just said, Beeb, I was shocked that Triple G couldn't hurt the guy. And we're not gonna get a guy credit for for being as fatigued as he was, but still taking some of the bigger shots that he took, but still maintaining his defense and everything. Like I said, at the end of the night, I just couldn't get a fight to Triple G. He's just not he's just too one-dimensional. He's just too one-dimensional to leave out the body work in the fight. And I think the last caller just said, the biggest moment of his night. Maybe he forgot portions of his game or something. Okay, whatever. And we can throw out that 118, 110 card. I mean, we already know what that was, but I'm not gonna keep repeating the same thing. I thought it was a great night. I thought the card itself kind of was suspect. I think
sucked.
Oscar could do something with the undercard. If he wants to compare himself to some of the events that Floyd threw on, since that's his big rival and whatnot. But hey, it was an awesome fight.
Definitely. All right, Wood, we're gonna get running. Tell them where we can catch you.
I'm just trying to do a lot of work right now over at Round by Round Boxing. roundbyroundboxing.com. A couple of different pieces are up there. The Pay Me No Mind podcast is also, I'm putting up shows over there, linking them back to everything else, where you can download podcasts.
There you go. How come you never write anything for us? Nothing. By the way, you're writing for everybody.
He's too busy. Too busy.
Wood's on the A level. Wood's on the A.
I even got him on the payroll with Beeb Industries. What are you trying to do? Kill him?
The Beeb Industries.
Does PR for Beeb Industries. Leave him alone.
He does PR for Beeb Industries.
I didn't think I could keep up with you guys' work rate over there, Ringside Reporter.
This is very true. We got a very high work rate. So. All right, man. Take care.
That's not for the.
Thank you, Wayne.
That's right. That's right.
Excellent analysis, man. Excellent analysis.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. All right, let's go to 813. 813. 813, you're live. Maybe not. 813, you're live?
Right.
No? Going once, going twice. 813 out.
Gone.
All right. Also, too, I just got some news. Just got some news right across my phone, man. Former WWE superstar Bobby the Brain Heenan has passed away. So it's
Oh no, really?
Oh,
shoot,
man.
man.
right.
I'm sorry. That's a
Sad
sad blow,
Another
man.
one fights us.
Oh, listen to you. Wow.
That's a sad blow.
Harsh. So harsh, Robert.
Yeah.
So harsh.
No, I remember him.
Wow. 773. 773, you are live.
Hey guys,
Hey, what's
Hello,
up?
Dale. What's up?
that's me, Dale Chicago. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely. So what'd you think?
Go ahead.
I said, what'd you think?
Oh, yeah. What'd you think?
He's speechless.
First, it's an positive, and then a high note. So Bears lost, Sox lost, and then Adalaide Byrd.
Yeah, right.
Exactly what we were worried about happened, and that really bummed me out after such a great fight. You guys and also Mike and Wood all made really good points on all that stuff. But Robbie was concerned. A lot of people were concerned, and I listened to your Wednesday show too. And I know that Eric, you're doing good, playing a little devil's advocate, and that's all right. But everyone was, kind of worried about Dave and Reddy and Adalaide Byrd, and like Dave and Reddy, man. No complaints on that card. That was perfect. Frankly, that's the score I had too.
Yeah.
115, 113. So really no, and Beeb's point too about 5 swing rounds. Yeah, and again, if it was Adalaide Byrd 115, 113 Canelo, nobody would complain. I mean, you could totally see that. But man, that was I tweeted you guys last night. I said, Adalaide Byrd strikes again. She's got a history with this, and shout out to Michael Montero. He was I was watching some of the videos of the post fight, and he was talking about Ben, and he kept pressing him like, listen, is there anything that's going to be done with this? He's like, well, everyone has a bad night, like Beeb said, and he goes, yeah, but no, she has a history with this of really bad cards. This is not her first time. And it's true, whether it's big championship fights, whether it's Eddie Ramirez on a Tuesday night on FS1.
Hey, Dale,
or MMA.
Dale, look at it this way: C.J. Ross made one mistake, and she can't judge again. How many mistakes has Adalaide Byrd made?
That's a great point.
Yeah, but C.J. Ross has had a history of
I'm
it
not
too.
one
Yeah, C.J. Ross was another judge.
Robbie's going to get a petition going. He's calling the commission tomorrow.
Yeah, Robert, man.
Robbie.
Messing with my girl
You better
C.J.
believe
Ross
it.
again.
Phone call to Las Vegas. You better believe it.
Whoa.
I mean, that's a fair point. But yeah, Ross had. Well, I say screw it. I think yeah, everyone just email the commission or call them, because this is such a great fight. And then
look, we paid $80 fucking for this fight because we wanted to see this fight. Everybody's been looking for this fight for at least 2 years. Why does one female judge have to fuck it up?
Oh, why do you have to say female? Why couldn't it just be a judge?
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Don't fuck around in Mexico.
Enough with this, huh? No more woman bashing on this show. First the 2-minute rounds, then the damn MMA women.
Sexist, Robert. You sexist.
You gotta stop with this.
I don't have anything to do with it.
The sponsors are gonna pull out.
Go ahead, Dale.
They're ready to close
Beeb
down Beeb
Industries is
Industries.
gonna take a hit.
What's the matter with you?
You're gonna shut down Beeb Industries with this negative stuff.
Oh. See, now you got him in the chat going.
Dale.
Now you got him in the chat going. It says ban women from judging. That's what it says in the chat. What's the matter with you?
Oh, come on. But no, anyway, so that was ridiculous. And Don Troll's card, hey, I could totally see that too. No problem there. And again, if there is corruption, if the conspiracy theories are true, make it look good. I mean, come on.
Make it look good.
You know. But anyway, besides that, moving on to the positives. What a great fight. Both guys. I'm sorry. I mean, I was extremely happy with that fight. Yes, I picked Triple G to win, but I was really impressed with Canelo. I thought Triple G won. I think he did more, but yeah, and yeah, his shots went super clean. Canelo was really elusive, slipping them, rolling them, a lot. And Beeb, you made an awesome point. Yeah, his foot speed, his hand speed was way over. Way better than maybe people thought.
Yeah, his hands are quick.
Work, yeah. His footwork, we know he wears concrete loafers, right? But it doesn't really matter because from the waist up, that dude can freaking move. And
good timing now too, man.
It was impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
Triple G had trouble timing him. I got him right here. And yeah, Triple G had trouble timing him. And also, hey, he hit him with some clean stuff and he took it. I mean, you've never seen anyone get on the ropes, take a shot from him, shake it off and go, come on. And then right back at him. Triple G too. He has a granite chin too, Took some hard Canelo shots. They both shook it off. It was a fifth round, I think. That was fun as hell to see. And you never see that. And so they both got they both have great chins, and as we now know, and who knows, two times in a row now, Triple G has to hear the scorecard, and I don't know if it's so much slippage as really good opposition,
Yeah, no, I honestly believe age has nothing to do with this. Daniel Jacobs and Canelo were top-notch opposition, and that's what we've always wanted Triple G to do. So I don't have a problem with either one of these.
And that's coming from Robbie, a huge Triple G fan.
Yeah, very much.
Means a lot coming from a huge Triple G.
Totally.
There it is.
So that was a positive. It was a great fight. I would like a rematch. I gotta say.
I would too.
Why bother?
I would too.
Because you know what? Even though it sucked and it was a ripoff, boy, that was still fun. So I would like to see a rematch. And I would, but I guess it's just a question of what's the next step.
Well, I think we will see a rematch, but I think there'll be they'll fight other people in between. I don't think it'll be.
I agree.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I guess in an ideal world, you get either Billy Joe or Danny Jacobs in December, and Canelo Cinco de Mayo, or maybe Danny Jacobs and then Canelo.
In a way, it's kind of too bad. It's kind of too bad that Daniel Jacobs can't beat Billy Joe Saunders, take that title, and then Daniel Jacobs gets the rematch he deserves.
That would be ideal. Yeah, that's a good point. See, yeah, you guys, Beeb's breakdowns, Robbie's matchmaking. There it is.
There you go.
There it is.
Of course, nobody listens to me and nobody does what I suggest. But
you got a cubicle. You got a cubicle in K2 Promotions office.
Daniel Jacobs. That would be the ideal thing. Daniel Jacobs against Billy Joe. Have Daniel Jacobs take that title, and then fight Triple.
He would.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he beats him totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Canelo could get rid of Miguel Cotto. I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Oh,
come on now. He's a legend.
Miguel Cotto. What's the matter with you?
Yeah, put him into retirement and make a lot of money. I mean, you can't really blame him. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
So.
All right, Dale, we're going to go ahead and get running, man. We got a ton of people online. Thank you, sir.
See ya.
Good call, as always, from Dale.
And it's going to be a long year in Chicago if you're a Bears fan. Sorry, Dale.
Oh, what's the matter with you?
Look at this guy throwing bombs tonight, Daddy. What's up?
Man, 970, you're live.
Well,
Yo,
first of all, I want to say congratulations, hand reps. As far as I'm concerned, you got a victory.
Viva Mexico!
Arriba la raza! Arriba la raza!
Don't fuck around in Mexico.
Man.
I'm getting a sombrero next week, Daddy.
Yo, man, only robbery last night is my boy not getting a fucking victory on our night, man. What the fuck? Man, that's a clear win for Canelo, bro. I don't know what you guys are smoking. Listen. I'm gonna.
Let me give some background. Hang on, one second.
Full of people that feel the same way you guys do. I have a house full of people that feels the same way you guys do. Because Triple G was coming forward and fucking doing all the attacking, right? Basically trying to hunt Canelo down, and Canelo was running way too much. So I have a house full of fuckers like you who think Triple G won, but that's not the facts, man. You guys know boxing.
You could justify a 118, 110.
You guys gave Jacobs the fight, who fucking got his ass handed to him and dropped, but you guys ain't gonna.
Whoa! This is not an opportunity.
Jacobs fight, son.
This is not an opportunity to shit on Daniel Jacobs just because Canelo did well. Just to add to yourself, yeah. Come on.
That's right. That's right.
Hand Raps has been hanging out with Pacquiao too much.
Bugging, yo. Listen, I had it in the house when we were sitting in the house. I had it 115, 113 for Triple G, my first fight. You know, the crowd around me was getting to me. They made me feel like
you can't make excuses.
Wait. You had the fight scored 115, 113, winning Triple G over Canelo.
You had Triple G winning the first.
That's that 118 card. I was shocked. I had to go back and watch it. I kicked everybody out of my house, man. I had to go back and watch that shit a couple of times. And I watched that shit. I watched it. I don't know how many times you guys watched it, but I watched it a couple of times. I believe I'm on my fourth run.
Son, you can't do that.
Canelo won this motherfucking fight, man.
You can't listen to me. You can't score the fight.
Okay.
You cannot watch the fight and score it and then go back after you've heard all the stuff and then watch it again.
Yes, you can.
Because your mind has then been poisoned. Your mind has then been poisoned, son.
You're looking for confirmation bias. You're looking for confirmation bias. And guess what? You found it. You found it.
You thought Triple G won the fight last night. You said it. You thought Triple G won the fight.
Motherfucker, I had Triple G.
Oh my God! He's trying to say that he was. He's trying to say that he was drugged last night.
He had a gun to his head, and they told him to write down a 10-9 round for Triple G.
Nah. Listen. And now that I've gone back and analyzed it, I can tell you it's 116, 112 clear. All three judges gave Canelo round 1 and 2, which I did too. I gave him round 1, 2, 3, and 4, and he won 10, 11, and 12. That right there is a fucking draw off the gun. He won.
Hey, hand raps. Are you? Wait a minute.
Triple G is cool with me, but he did not win that fight.
Wait a minute, hand raps. Are you copying my scorecard? That's exactly the way I scored it. Those 7 rounds you gave.
Robbie, you're the only one on point tonight, man. I don't know what happened. On this roll. The motherfucker, he's stupid tonight. But Robbie, you on point. You on point tonight, man. Give these motherfuckers that uppercut, that triple G. Listen, I told you that uppercut was gonna land, didn't I? The only thing I'm shocked by is Triple G fucking ate it. That shit was impressive.
Well, hey man, this dude takes shots. It's gonna take an Anthony Joshua to put him down, okay?
Yo, man, Canelo landed the hardest shots all night. Triple G landed the sloppy jack. He looked like Conor McGregor with that little fucking arm punch.
So you could justify the 118, 110 scorecard?
How does he go from 115 to 113 Triple G to 118, 110? I can see you saying 115, 113. Just did like a 10-round swing. What is that? Were you on Angel Dust last night when you originally scored it? You can't say that.
Yo, man, every time Triple G was hitting the gloves, everybody was screaming. He wasn't doing nothing, bro. He didn't land one solid shot. Well, he landed a solid shot.
Except for those solid shots he landed.
Other than that, he landed on the 5th. What other shot did he land, bro? That little pity uppercut? He was hitting pads out there, bro. What the fuck was he doing?
He was hitting pads out there.
Look at Triple G's face.
The guy in the chat just said this caller is on that Oscar's nose candy.
Why didn't you lie? Why didn't you lie and said you didn't score for Triple G the first time? Why didn't you just omit that information?
Yeah, that's the worst.
You ruined yourself. You ruined it when you did
That's
that.
the worst, man.
Props, too. I was ready to give you props.
Yeah, that'll happen.
It doesn't. No, we can't do it now. You scored the fight for Triple G.
When you're on the bandwagon.
Okay.
Scored the fight for Triple G.
That night.
You can't do
So
that.
Can Don Trella say my 114 doesn't count? I'm going to go back and score it tomorrow and then turn in his card tomorrow?
No,
can't do that.
I scored it for Jacobs, and then I went back and watched it and scored it for Triple G. The same thing happened for Jacobs. I was on the.
So can Don Trella and Dave Moretti and Adalaide Byrd do that?
Do shit.
Cards. Can they do an absentee ballot with their scorecard?
Right, that's true. If you judge it that way, that's how the judges got to do it. They got that kind of pressure where they've got to watch the fight. Hey, they're human. They get influenced by the crowd.
You were handed a pen and paper last night, and you turned it in. You can't call up the commission and say, "Hey, that was the wrong card. Here's the right one." So you take a test in school. You go home and say, "Oh shit, I answered question number 18 wrong. Here's my new test."
Exactly why.
Take that other test and throw it out. You can't do that.
That's exactly why I don't bash Bird. That's exactly why I'm not bashing Adalaide Byrd.
Oh, you don't bash Bird now. Oh, now more justification. Now more justification.
I saw 2 rounds. I saw 2 rounds where Triple G won clearly. The rest of those rounds are debatable, buddy. I saw 2 clear rounds. For Triple G.
I mailed you a check yesterday too. Let me find that out.
I found.
I have to investigate you now, buddy.
Give me 3 clean rounds for Triple G. Give me 3 clean rounds for Triple G. Where? No.
5, 6, 7, and 8.
8,
5, 6, 7, and 8. He clearly won 5, 6, 7, and 8. No question about it.
Triple G, Canelo laid on the ropes waiting for him because he was tired, but he did the better work in the beginning.
Oh, that's okay.
So,
the round is 3 minutes, not 40 seconds.
Round, Canelo started stronger.
Yeah, but he didn't end the round stronger.
Triple G pretty much. Yeah, but Triple G didn't land shit. If he started stronger and then he's running and Triple G don't land shit, who wins the fucking round?
Triple G landed more shots. He landed at a higher percentage.
No, he was coming forward. He didn't land shit. He landed a bunch of jabs. Look at the copy box score.
Just because, I'm telling you, man, he was hurt. Canelo was hurt in this fight, man. His Conor McGregor jab.
Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor he's got a good shot, man. He can jab. He can fight. He made a believer. I'm a believer.
Good shot. You guys are bugging, man. I'm telling you, man, I'm mad because I fell for the fucking hype last night, too. That's why I'm fucking mad.
Beeb,
you won that fight.
Hey, Beeb, I had the fight scored 116, 112 last night, but I've kind of amended my scorecard to 115, 113 today.
You know what? I'm going to tell you right now. I went back and watched it today. I had 5 even rounds.
There you go. That's the way it goes. It's the truth, man.
I'm going to mail in my scorecard.
Back and watch Canelo won that shit.
You need to amend your scorecard too, Beeb.
I disagree with what you need. Scorecard, but I'll give him credit for one thing. He originally scored it for Canelo, so that I respect it, man. If you said you scored at 116, 112 when you watched it last night, I wouldn't say anything to you.
Yeah.
Because you could do that.
Fucking watch the fight. I got people all around me, man. I got people all.
Oh, that's like okay.
I got people
and they're all cheering for Canelo.
I got.
You got to focus. When you get an assignment, you got to focus.
You got to be like me and Beeb, laser focus.
I had Brianna hanging off my shoulders last night, but I was zeroed in.
You got to do like I do. You don't invite anybody over and you watch the fight. Period.
I had Linda screaming at me, "Wipe off that food off the floor. You're making a mess." But I was still focused. Still focused. He had laser vision last night.
Hey,
vision.
How are you so focused and you let a blind man watch the fight better than you, Beeb? How's that?
Come on now. No, that
fucking got
shots at Beeb in the streets.
Hand wraps. Come on, that's uncalled for. You know.
Thank you, Robbie.
You're in no position to go for uncalled for tonight, buddy. You made some comments tonight. You're in no position. But
you can't take shots at Beeb in the streets like that.
Man, Beeb Industries done went bankrupt today, buddy. That shit,
it was a push. It was a push. All the funds went right back to our account. We're all set. Don't worry about it.
No. Hey, question. Beeb, let me guess, all right? Because I'm gonna predict now. You're gonna go against Canelo in this next fight, regardless of who he is, and he's gonna win again, motherfucker.
Yeah,
well,
he's gonna fight
Miguel Cotto. No,
he's gonna fight Miguel Cotto next, and I will ride with Canelo.
you have to because Cotto's shot. So, yeah.
As long as he doesn't fight Golovkin again or Daniel Jacobs, I'll go with him. Or the Charlo brothers, for that matter, either. He's not beating the Charlo brothers either.
You don't want him to fight Golovkin again.
I heard that Canelo's going to rematch Chavez Jr. So yeah, how about that? So we'll definitely pick him. We'll definitely pick him for his next fight.
Man, Eric, I can't believe, man. Eric, go back and watch this fight, man. I'm telling you, Eric, go back.
Brianna picked Canelo too.
I already watched.
Brianna picked Canelo too, and I didn't let her sway my scoring. She was giving Canelo rounds.
Listen, man. Triple G didn't land shit, bro. He landed one right hand.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. That was in the punch stats
Canelo
too.
outworked that boy. He pushed himself off the ropes. He landed the hardest shots. Look at the with the copy box, man. That says it all. What, Triple G threw a fuckload more punches, missed a fuckload more punches, landed a good jab all night to kind of push the pace. He pushed the pace. We got to give him that.
Well, this is what I got. You asked for it. I got it. Totals. Canelo threw 551 punches, landed 203 punches, 36%. Triple G threw 762 punches, almost 200 more punches, over 200 more punches. Landed 267 punches, landed more. 35%.
Right. What was the power punch stat? What's that power punch stat?
I've got the total stat. I got the total stats here.
Yeah, 50% for Canelo, buddy. It was like 40-something%. For
Do you
Canelo,
know
buddy.
what a power punch is? It doesn't mean that they were hard shots. Doesn't mean that they were hard shots.
Exactly.
Anything other than a jab is a power punch.
Though. But they were hard shots.
No, they were not all hard shots.
Did Canelo not throw a hard shot?
How did Canelo? I'm not saying that Canelo didn't throw a hard shot. Canelo clearly threw hard shots. Clearly landed hard shots. I'm not saying that every one of those shots that were called power punches are not hard shots.
But
hand wraps.
True, and that's
all. Canelo did a great job last night. You don't have to defend him. He fought a good fight. He fought a good fight. No one's saying he didn't fight a good fight. You don't have to defend Canelo. It's okay.
Man, I'm just mad.
You sound like you're feeling bad that you went against him last night, and so now you're trying to adjust. Now you feel guilty a little bit.
You have to go apologize to Canelo.
You have to go apologize to Canelo. You have to let him go to Boy promotion tomorrow.
Yeah, but I'm not a professional fucking judge, and I felt for
you could say that again.
I'm not a professional judge. You're a professional judge.
Oh my God!
But I know.
Oh God, Eric, that was. Oh my God, man! Oh, you just torched him. Get me a fire extinguisher.
Our producer Joel Lopez in the chat is saying next caller.
I was getting ready to bow to you. I was getting ready to bow to you tonight. I was going to bow to you tonight, but you ruined it when you said I originally scored this fight 115, 113 for Golovkin. That ruined it.
I love it.
I was ready to give you the bow. And oh.
You know what? That call reminded me a lot of one of Corey's calls.
Hand Wraps is the best caller ever. Hands down. Hands down, got to be the best caller ever.
I love Hand Wraps, man. I really do.
He's always good.
Passionate guy.
Yeah,
he is.
Great.
That's the thing you like about it is he's so passionate because he rides with his guys, whether it's Pacquiao, whether it's Canelo. And again, I mean, you can make a case for Canelo winning this fight. I mean, we can't make a case for 118, 110, but that's what he said in the chat. That he said he can make a case for 118, 110. I'm like, there's no way. You got to come on here, you know.
No, Canelo, in my opinion, I scored it for Canelo, but I'm not going to argue with anybody that scored it for Triple G or had it a draw.
Right.
For 118, 110, forget it.
No.
You can't do that.
No way. No, not 118, 110. No way. No way. All right, let's go to 508. 508, you are next. 508, you're live.
Hello, Georgie. Hello, Georgie.
Hey, what's happening, people?
Georgie.
Yo, get my intro going. Get my intro. There you go. We all fools tonight, baby.
You ain't lying.
Yesterday, we all fools. Damn, man, the Mafia's won again. What's going on here, people? This is just ridiculous. Here we go again, once again.
How'd you see the fight, Georgie? How'd you see the fight?
He had it for Canelo.
Listen, it was a close fight, but there is no way Canelo won or have a fucking draw, bro. At least for a point. If you are a professional judge and you don't get this shit right, baby, there is no other way to explain this than fucking robbery, corruption. The sport that we love doesn't love us back. Simple as that, baby. These fucking reptilians, no empathy for humanity, will rob anybody to make $1. They just don't care. Listen, we got a black bull, golden boy. Golden boy have to beat black bull. I don't care who's fighting for golden boy. I will never buy anything related with this man or this organization. Somebody has to be made example here for the fans. The fans gonna have to take the destiny of boxing in their own hands. Somehow, some way, we gotta unite and take these people who don't throw a punch, who doesn't run a mile, who don't get up 4 in the morning to train, who don't spar, and write history left and right. This is the problem with the rematch. What happened to Chocolatito after he got robbed? What happened?
Well, I don't think that
he got knocked out.
get any more assignments in the future.
Okay, what happened? What happened with the war against Kovalev shit? After
that was a good decision.
70% everybody, after 70% of anybody who knows anything about boxing, so clearly Kovalev won. What happened on the rematch? So what do you think is gonna happen when De La Hoya set up the shit for the 5th of fucking May, Cinco de Mayo? What's gonna happen there? When Triple G's already showing signs of getting old. Because somehow we got to explain that from 27 to 33, that's when you're on your prime. He always been like that. But somehow some boxing fans don't know this beyond my understanding. It's just ridiculous. We cannot be blaming the boxer. Robbie said something that's a little controversial about this woman as a judge. This woman is representing every single woman on the planet. Women should be pissed off at this girl for the bad representation that they give in their sex in the sport. So on that part, I'm with Robbie. Yeah, put some pressure on that shit on that side, Robbie. So see fucking women get mad and do something about this. Because this is what these mafias do. Every time they get a bullshit score like that, they make sure it's a woman coming out with these bullshit fucking scorecards. So why? So we play the role, or she's a woman. Let's not go after her. You see, and that's all. Because if it's not this lady, it's going to be another lady or a dude. This vampire, this is how they work. I'm just sick and tired. I'm just done with this. I love boxing, but I'm not going to support no pay-per-view. I ain't buying shit. I ain't going nowhere. I'm done with spending money with these people. Simple as that.
Take a poll in the chat. Who wants the rematch? Who wants the rematch and who's going to pay for it on pay-per-view? That's a poll in the chat. Let us know.
That is the whole thing. It was a great fight. Great fight. You cannot be disappointed about the fight.
I'm going to ask all three of you a question on here. How well do you think this pay-per-view did last night? They were projecting anywhere from 1.5 to 2 million. Do you think it did that?
I think it did 1.5. That's my number.
Yeah, I think so. I think it did about 1.5. Yeah.
It had to have done at least 1.5.
So if it did the numbers that they think it did, is that enough pressure for them to have a rematch, say in May?
Well,
that's not pressure. That's motivation. That's what motivates these people. Money.
Yeah.
No, because of apparently, Georgie, and I didn't have access to this, but apparently, according to Beeb and Eric, in the news conference last night after the fight, they were dodging and ducking of whether there was ever going to be a rematch. So,
because the rematch will happen down the line. You better believe that. But like Eric said and Beeb say, if they can squeeze 2 or 3 fights in between and make a lot of money, that will happen. This is what I mean. This is the bread and butter. When it
Baby boy,
come out about this reporter, the fuck is that nigga's name was fighting with Teddy Atlas?
Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen A. Smith.
There is 2 types of guys from boxing. People who really love boxing and will tell you that it's corrupt, and they don't care if we have to bring this motherfucker to the ground and make it come out of the ashes like the phoenix. You understand what I'm saying? It's to a point that these people don't give you fair matches. If it is not a mismatch, look at that Willie Monroe fucking Billy Joe Sanders. Look at that shit. What that proof? Who seen this? Who cares about that type of fight? So when we get in mismatches, then we get a fucked up fucking decision. And once in a blue moon, the boxing guy will smile at you and they give you a fucking bone. Yeah, then you got a fucking fight without no controversy. Or if somebody happened to knock somebody out, then we're on the safe side. This got to stop. It has to stop somehow. We cannot come here, Robbie, like you said, oh, take it out of Vegas. Don't matter what you put on the planet. These people don't got no nationality. These people don't give a fuck if you Mexican, Puerto Rican, American, Canada. It doesn't matter what you put on the planet. They're going to find somebody to fucking do the damage. We have to take it from them. That's what it comes down. Like I was saying with this Smith dude. This dude, Teddy Atlas said to explain this man that the boxing is corrupt, that he's fucking on the fiber of fucking boxing for decades. And this man tried to bamboozle people, telling them that he's a judge, that we should blame the judge. No, we should not blame no judge. He's beyond that at this point. He's talking about like we're in the 60s. We got 70 years of this bullshit. Come on, man. That is ridiculous, bro. Just want to tell everybody out there to fucking support you guys. You guys always, give a good show, and that counts. Pretty much might call him out.
Awesome, man. Thank you, sir. Georgie, always with the good call, man. And he's right. I mean, it's what do you do? I mean, really, what do you do about this? What do you do about that corruption? You don't know. Because, you don't really pay off the fighters, because the fighters are making millions anyway. What are you going to pay him to take a dive? You're not going to pay him enough money to take a dive. He's making too much money. And if he wins, he's going to make more money his next fight. It makes more sense to go after the judges. You can pay, they get paid what? Maybe $1,200. B, what do you think the judge? What is it? $1,200? $1,200 to $1,500?
Yeah, I think
for a fight of this, for not even a championship fight, a fight of this magnitude.
Yeah, something like that, I guess. I don't know for sure.
So those guys, if I go over there and say I'm gonna give you $5,000 to, make sure my guy wins. Yeah, well, you know what? I can be bought. Yeah, at $5,000. I mean, that's a lot of money to, if you're getting $1,200 and you're offering me $5,000, so yeah, I mean that's doable. So I don't know how you stop that. I really don't. I don't know that you can. Open scoring, maybe, but open scoring, nobody likes the idea. I don't like the idea. I like that surprise at the end. Area code 718. 718, you are live.
Gentlemen, how you doing this evening?
Hey, how's it going?
How's it going?
We're doing good, man. We're doing good.
All right. This is, I don't know, you see me popping on the chat once in a while. This is Dr. Mofongo.
Oh, yeah. How are you,
brother? How you doing?
Thanks for calling in.
I actually go back to Robbie and the Beeb back on the Boxing Boys days, and been listening to you guys ever since popping on here when I have a chance. But enjoy the show. You guys do a great job.
Thank you,
I just want to give you my take. We had a group of about like 10 people. I kind of scrounged up at work, got a little boxing circle of guys. And half of them were actually MMA fans that wanted to come out and watch the fight. And one of them happens to be a judge for MMA. And, you know, just for kicks, we all pulled out our scorecards and we all scored the fight. I had the fight myself, 117, 111 for Triple G. I gave Canelo 2, 3, and 12. That's all I could give him. The judge, who happens to be an MMA judge, had the same exact scorecard that I did, 117, 111 for Triple G. And the reason I bring that up is that the play, we had an awesome time watching the fight. Everyone was on the edge of their seat, you know. And then at the end, when that scorecard was read, when everyone heard 118, 110 Canelo, the place just played. You know, everyone's jaw's on the ground. Then when you hear a draw, it just turned that whole evening, when you have like a mix of people who, some casual, some who aren't even really true boxing fans, everyone's having a good time. And it turned it into this, like, the air just got let out of the room. And you sit there and you just think it's just such a shame for the sport when you have a fight that you look forward to and you have such buildup, and then you have something like this happen. To me, in my opinion, this is not, I keep hearing the comparison, Jacobs, Triple G, you know, with the analogy of a close fight and it could go either way. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't see this as a close fight. I mean, to me, the best case scenario is 115, 113. But there's no way I think you could give a draw or give the fight to Canelo. I mean, he had his moments early, and you saw him doing pretty well in rounds 1, 2, 3. Once he hit a point, I want to say it was round 5, if I recall correctly. Where
That is correct. That is correct.
And a couple of us said he gassed, like he clearly his
did
just changed, and he was clearly gassed out. And I turned to my friends, and I'm like, you know, I heard hand wraps before, and I'm sorry, I love hand wraps, but when he actually said, and it came out of his mouth, that he could see 118, 110, rationale left the room at that point. I mean, there's nothing you could say after that. But at last I checked, ring generalship, effective aggression are part of scoring criteria. And how many times did we see Canelo backpedaling on the bike, you know, gassed out with his back on the ropes? And in Triple G, I think a fear of getting clipped didn't really unleash and go in reckless. I think he was respecting Canelo's countering ability and didn't jump on him at times when he could have. But when you see a round like that, we saw that round after round after round.
From round 4 on, yeah.
And it's just after round 4 on, it's all Triple G. That's what I saw, because after that point, when Canelo just started backpedaling, that's all you saw. Those rounds are clearly Golovkin rounds, because you have a guy. I mean, Atlas made a perfect analogy. He gave an analogy about one guy's the ocean, one guy's the log, and the ocean moves the log around, and that boxing doesn't respect that anymore. Ring generalship and effective aggression are part of scoring criteria. Last time I checked,
that's a great analogy too.
I saw a point where there was a string of rounds where it was clearly Golovkin because of those criteria. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but that's how I saw it. But what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I saw it, like I said, I saw it a very similar way as you. I had a 116, 112 for Triple G. You know, like I said, man, for that 4th round, I thought that Triple G was gassing in the 4th round. Then I look in the 5th round, looks like Canelo's gassing, and his gas tank started to go down. And then you notice he's noticeably on the ropes. He's gassed out. I think the extra weight hurt him. I think that Triple G was doing a lot more. I think Triple G hurt him. I really do. I think that's the thing, is that nobody really thinks, well, he got tired. Well, he got tired of getting hit. Triple G was hitting him, like it or not. He was jabbing him. He was touching him up. He had him, you know, he was getting marked up. He was getting touched up, and he was tired. Putting pressure on somebody that
going but it was
absolutely
just clear. You could just see the tie to everyone.
Pressure wears
table,
people out.
Kind of shared the same thought. We're like, you know, the tie turned at some point, and once it switched, you could just see. I mean, I just saw Canelo, and then he kind of woke at the end. You could give him, you know, I gave him the 12th. I mean, you can't. I could say you could give him, you know, I don't see how anyone gave him all 3 of the last 3 championship rounds, 10, 11, 12. I've heard more than one person say that. I didn't see that at all. I gave him 1 out of the 3, but
I gave Canelo 10 and 12.
Give him 2, fine, but
yeah,
you know, you had a 10, 12, Eric.
Yeah, I gave Canelo the 10th round, and the 12th round I gave Triple G the 11th round.
Yeah, me too. And this is the thing too.
I mean, that to me is the worst case. I don't know. I just don't think this was a. To me, this is one of those like close fights along the lines of a Triple G Jacobs. This to me was,
Yeah, this was not as close
one
as Triple
guy.
G. No, absolutely not as close as Triple G Jacobs. I didn't think at all.
I didn't think so either.
That's a much closer fight. Yeah, Jacobs was a much closer.
And when you want to talk about ring generalship, this is another key component to that. When you want to talk about this fight, is you could tell that one guy was pushing the fight and making it a fast-paced fight, and you can tell the other guy was trying to slow down the pace of the fight, and he wasn't successful at doing that, because in order to slow down the pace of the fight, he had to stop Golovkin from coming forward and throwing punches. You could say what you want, that maybe Canelo's work was cleaner at points when he landed clean shots, and Golovkin's wasn't. But you have to ask yourself, do I want a lot of punches or do I want a few clean punches? That's the thing. It was, you couldn't really apply the quantity versus quality here, because Triple G was landing some quality, maybe not as many, but you take the quality he was landing mixed in with the not so great punches, and you combine them, and that's a lot of work, in my opinion.
Yes, and that's what I keep going back to, because I was listening when I tuned in. I was just catching a lot of Hand Rap's call. Even when you guys were talking about the CompuBox numbers and comparing what landed, what you guys, I know Eric brought up the total punches and he reverted back to power punches. But what I kept thinking, hearing that, it's what I think people naturally, of course, the first criteria is effective punching, but a lot of times you hear that and that's all people see. Like, they negate the other scoring criteria.
Right.
And I just saw Triple G dictating the pace, controlling the pace, round after round after round. Once Canelo hit that point where that stamina just zapped, it was a different. His demeanor it flipped, and Triple G was controlling every round after that, until Canelo had his 2 rounds where he kind of woke up and was like, I gotta, we went into the 12th like he needs a knockout. He's got to have a knockout to win this fight, and he kind of felt that sense of urgency and woke up a bit and won maybe 2 of those, but. There was a long stretch there. Again, go back to the Letterman card. It was identical to mine. And I just saw Triple G controlling the pace, and I those criteria get overlooked so much. It just makes, it frustrates you sometimes. But anyway, guys, that's my 2 cents. I'll try to call in more often. And thanks for the show.
Thank you. Thank you for calling in. Great call, man. Great call. All right, let's go to 706. 706. You are live. Or maybe you're not. 706. Going once. Twice. 706. Didn't answer the bell. Did not answer the bell. All right. So let's go to 612. 612. You are live. 612.
Oh, yes, this is. So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, yes, this is Beeb. I'm calling out of Minnesota.
Hey, BJ, what's up?
Oh, nothing much, man. I just really, really had to chime in on this, because I could definitely say that I was one of the people who really at the time, because really I was picking Canelo for this fight, but I could kind of say that I felt like we didn't see the best Canelo, because he did tire out in later rounds, but he still stood his ground, and he was still effective in spots, but I think that was also the detriment to him too, was the fact that he fought in spots, and I felt like he could have been more aggressive at points, and he could have really took over the fight, which he didn't. Now, when I first saw the fight, yes, I thought Triple G won. I was one of those people too that thought Triple G won the first time around, but I didn't score it. I was just watching it with my own eyes. But then I went back, watched it again, and the thing is that yes, Triple G was aggressive, but there's a difference between being aggressive and being effectively aggressive. And I felt like there were times in this fight where Triple G, he was coming forward, he was throwing punches, but he wasn't stopping Canelo in his tracks. Canelo was still able to throw punches back, was still able to effectively counterpunch him while on the ropes. And so at the end, I went back and scored it the second time. When I watched the second time, and I actually scored it a draw. And I felt like that was because in the moments where Triple G could have really owned the fight and took it, he wasn't really throwing the punch that was really just stopped Canelo in his tracks and stopped him from being him. So Canelo was still able to fight his fight, but at the same time, Canelo wasn't doing the things that he needed to do to stop him or to actually take over the fight either. So that's why I supported a draw. And as far as rematch is concerned, it does happen. I mean, it doesn't happen right away. No, I think it doesn't happen right away because I think at this point, Triple G goes after Billy Joe Saunders. But I would definitely love to see the rematch again to see how they adjust for the next fight. Does Canelo be that aggressive guy? Because I think there were moments in the fight where in the later rounds where Canelo fought on the inside, he fought him in the pocket, and he actually got Triple G off balance. And I believe it was the 9th or 10th round. I can't remember which round it was. But he got him off balance with the right hand. And he was in the pocket with him. I think that if Canelo employs that same strategy in the next fight, if they fight again, I think he'll have the advantage if he goes to the inside, hits him with about 2 or 3 combination punches in the inside, and it comes out again, I think he wins. But if he doesn't do that, he comes back in the second fight and did what he did in his first fight, try to be on the bicycle and use his footwork. You're going to Triple G's favor. You're working in Triple G's favor. So that's what I think. What do you guys think about that?
I just think that when Canelo went back to the ropes, I think that he needed space to throw punches. And when he went back to the ropes, he was mostly taking a break. I thought he did his best work in the center of the ring where he had some space. So I don't think Canelo's a great inside fighter. I think he's a mid-range fighter. So obviously, you mentioned he should throw more punches. Yeah, that would help him. But if he throws more punches, he's going to get tired quicker. So he's never going to be that guy that's going to be a volume guy. He's always going to probably have to fight at this pace. He's been doing it his whole career. He's in his prime right now. 27 is probably the peak, his peak years, maybe 27, 28-ish. And I don't see his stamina increasing as he gets older and as he moves up in weight. So, yeah, I think he fought the best fight he could fight. Whereas I think Golovkin now could probably fight a little bit better because he now knows that he could deal with Canelo's power pretty easily. He was walking through the shots, so maybe he will get more aggressive. But with no question about it, Golovkin did have problems with Canelo's hand speed, and that's always going to be an issue. I think he's going to always proceed with caution. I don't think he's going to ever throw all caution into the wind. But I think Golovkin could probably do some more body work. But I don't think Canelo can fight a better fight than he fought.
So do you think? So the thing is, do you think that with his style of fighting, because we all know that he fights in spots, which is very true with Canelo. Do you think that's going to hurt him if he stays in the 160 division going forward? If this is the best fight he could give against Triple G, I mean, what if he ends up facing the Jamal Charlos in the world, or the Billy Joe Saunders and the Danny Jacobs? Does he have trouble against those guys too?
I think so. I think so because his style is always going to make people think, he left the table. So every time you watch him fight, it's going to be hard giving him clear-cut rounds because you're going to say, yeah, he did this and that, but he only did it in spurts. So, you know what I'm saying? So he leaves a lot of rounds on the table. Will he keep continuing getting the benefit of the doubt like he's been getting? Will he get these closer rounds all the time against the Charlos, against Danny Jacobs? People continue to give him the close rounds. He continues to get the benefit of the doubt. Then I mean, he, you know, unless he doesn't get knocked out, then it's always going to be, you know, it's always going to be that element of at the end of the fight where, you know, what's going to happen here. There's always seems to be that 118, 110 scorecard every time his fights go the distance. So we can't forget about that, and we can't just dismiss that.
Oh yeah, that 118, 110 score. I mean, because I actually went to the theater to watch it with a bunch of my friends, and we were all screaming at the screen when they said 118, 110. Everyone screamed at the screen. Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
That was egregious. And whoever that was that scored that, because they need to be barred. They don't need to score another fight again. That's how I feel. When you saw 118, 110 for Canelo, that was completely off. He was not doing that much to where he was just dominating the fight to where Triple G only wins 2 rounds. That is completely absurd. That I did not see at all. Like, if anything, Triple G, and especially in the middle rounds, he took the fight in the middle rounds, especially. Those were his rounds. And that's where he, when I first watched it, that's where I thought he won the fight. But as the later rounds came along, I think in so many ways, those times where Canelo fought in spots in the later rounds, I think that's where he came back. That's where Canelo came back on again. And I gave him later rounds again. Because there was, like I said, there were points where he was on the inside, he was hitting him, and we all know that because you're right, he's not an inside guy. You know, really, neither one of these guys are. But Canelo, I guess somewhere along the line, Canelo felt that he had to be in the pocket with him, or he felt it was necessary to do that. So the thing is, you know, do you think, you know, my thing is, if in order for the Canelo to win decisively, and even Triple G, for him to win decisively, I mean, I'm asking all of you guys, I'm asking you, Eric, Robbie, and Beeb, what adjustments do you think need to be made for either person to win this fight clearly?
I think nothing. I mean, I think he did win the fight clearly. I think one person did win the fight clearly, and I don't know what you do with that. I really don't. I mean, I had a 116, 112. I don't think you get much clearer than that. You know, the judge screwed him. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, there's no way it was 118, 110. I can, you know, listen, man, I can go 115, 113. I can see a draw. I could even see Robbie's scorecard. I mean, we can make an argument for that. We can make an argument he won that way. Cannot make an argument for 118, 110. I don't want to see the fight again. I don't want to see it. There's no reason to see it. We've already saw it. You know, it was a good fight, action-packed, but, you know, if we're going to get that kind of result every time he fights, then what's the point of watching it?
I think when Canelo has him on the ropes, he's got to go to the body. He's got to throw more body shots. It's not Canelo, excuse me. When Triple G has Canelo on the ropes, he's got to throw more body shots. And if Canelo can, you know, muster up a little bit more energy and not give away as many of those middle rounds as he did, then he could probably win too. So, but the thing is I think, you know, Canelo gave everything he had. He's just never going to be a guy that's going to step his foot on the gas. He's not that guy. He's just not that aggressive, you know, guy that like Margarito. He's not going to be like Margarito, come forward and throw a lot of punches. He's just not that guy. So I think Golovkin can do better. I don't think Canelo can. The only thing Canelo can hope for is if Golovkin, he waits longer and fights him in 2 years, and Golovkin really, really slows down, then he has a better chance. But I think you saw the best Canelo. I don't think he can do much more, in my opinion.
BJ, we're going to go ahead and get running, man. Thank you so much for the call and the questions. And call back again, man. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, brother.
Absolutely, man. Great call. All right, let's go to area code 915. 915, you are live.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. D-Style Boxing here. What's going on, guys?
D-Style, what's happening?
What's going on, Eric?
All right. So, a couple things. First of all, okay, if the boxing community cannot, I don't care who you had winning, if the boxing community cannot universally agree that 118, 112, 118, 110 for Canelo is ridiculous, then we're never going to resolve anything in boxing. Like, if we can't universally agree to that, like, anyone could watch a boxing fight, and if you want to give the fight to a guy, you can give him the fight. Okay? Like, it's like you're really trying to, you can screw somebody over, right? Like, he landed a punch. That's it. I'm going to give it to him. You know, and I believe that's what one of the callers did earlier, to be honest with you. You don't score it for GGG and then go back and watch it 3 more times to, you know, to give yourself a confirmation bias that your guy won. Like, you know, that's just not, judges don't get to do that. They don't get to watch it in slow motion. They don't get to rewind. You know, they don't get to do any of that, okay? Also, the second thing, the effective aggressiveness thing, okay? First of all this is not every Canelo fan, but everybody who had Canelo winning because, oh, well, he was effective, but he wasn't effectively aggressive. Like here's my thing, okay? Then a lot of you guys need to explain to me then how effective he was in his aggression against Lara then. Okay, so that's the reason they gave the fight to him over Lara. Okay, Canelo was saying that Lara wasn't coming forward, and he was running away the whole fight. Okay, all of a sudden, circling the ring made sense in this fight. You know, people need to choose their battles here, I guess, but, you know, be careful how you score a fight for your guy, because your guy may fight differently in a fight in the future, right? So maybe people should be a little more consistent with the way they score, so you could avoid sounding like a hypocrite in the future. And here's my third point about effective aggressiveness, okay? At the end of the day, only one guy was consistently aggressive in the fight. It's 1/4 of the scoring criteria. If one guy was not effective, was not aggressive at all, and one guy was aggressive, even if you don't think, in your opinion, conveniently, that he wasn't effective, he was the only one that was aggressive. Now, does that mean you give him every round? No. But it does mean that for the majority of the fight, 1/4 of the criteria was in his favor. Period. Like, you know, who's more effectively aggressive? The one that's trying to be aggressive or the one that's not being aggressive at all? That's a question.
Well, but then you had one guy.
No.
Yeah, you had one guy in Canelo who he wasn't moving, like he was going back to the ropes to catch a breather. He was trying to slow the fight down. This was not like Lara circling. This was not like Mayweather pulling guys in and trapping them. This was a guy going back to the ropes. Yes. That's the thing. Now, in the center of the ring, his upper body movement, standing, his reflexes were great. But he could, as soon as Triple G pressed the action, pushed the pace, he needed to try and slow it down. That is ring generalship, people. When I force you to fight a fight that you do not want to fight.
Here's my thing, Beeb.
Yep, go ahead.
Well, people that are giving it to Canelo, this is where people, they will see what they want to see when they want to score it for a guy, okay? That's just the way it is. I've heard many people say, well, not many, I shouldn't say many. The majority has Gennady Golovkin winning. But as far as the people that are saying, they're saying things like, no, Canelo, he went to the ropes on purpose. He felt comfortable there. You know, he put himself there. GDG didn't put him there. You know, he wasn't tired. He was doing it by design. And they're giving him credit for defense, you know, for doing that. Like, here's my thing, okay? I think defense could be interpreted in many ways, all right? But if one guy is fighting for 40 seconds of a 3-minute round and wasn't doing anything for more than 2/4 of that round, all right? then the other guy's offense and ring generalship is his defense, because that guy isn't firing anything. You know, and you could interpret it that way. I saw both guys block punches with their gloves. I saw both guys flip shots. So it's not like the aggression thing where only one guy was doing it. Both guys are being defensive to a certain degree. Okay, but let's be honest, none of them were like putting on a masterful defensive clinic either. Okay, so I don't really think that any guy did anything. You know, I didn't see a Pernell Whitaker in there. Canelo did some great, slipping of shots and rolling with shots. Gennady Golovkin mainly had the high guard up. A lot of punches hit his glove, and he did get hit with some clean shots. But Canelo was only fighting in spurts of the fight. So that's one of the reasons I'm having a very difficult time giving this fight for Canelo. A very difficult time. I can't do it. And for those that don't know, Beeb knows this. I thought Canelo was going to win this fight. Right? The first 3 rounds looked basically the way I thought they would. He was getting to the body of Gennady Golovkin, but Gennady Golovkin didn't go anywhere. Right? And the middle rounds are Gennady Golovkin's rounds. And the late rounds, to me, are what are debatable. All right? I gave them to Canelo. Right? But I don't see how you can give Canelo more than 6 rounds in this fight. I just don't. It's looking at the fight, I honestly think it's impossible. Looking at it objectively. You know, I know that that's not like a reality because some people are going to want to give it to Canelo. But deep down, I honestly believe they know he did not win this fight. I think they know it. I think they know it in their souls, okay?
You got to know he didn't win this fight. I mean, really, you got to know. I mean, it's, you know, I mean, you're right. I mean, we can make cases for Canelo winning the fight. We can make cases, you know, for, like I said, 115, 113, and this and that. But that's all we're doing is making cases for it.
And the worst thing about this all, let's look at another controversial point here that no one's talking about. Because I'm going to go back to what I said, and I apologize for repeating myself. There were 4 clear rounds for Golovkin, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And arguably, round 7 was probably Golovkin's best round, if not maybe at least the second best. I think it was his best round, in my opinion. And Don Trello, who scored at 114,
one of the judges didn't give him round 7.
That's what I'm saying. That's what my point was going to be. Don Trello, who scored at 114, yeah, he scored at 114, 114, and he gave Canelo the 7th round. That he scored that round incorrectly. If he gave that round to Golovkin like he was supposed to, then you would have had 2 115, 113 scorecards, and this fight would not be a draw. So that's what I'm saying. You could say you could dump on Adalaide Byrd, not give that 7th round to Golovkin. It's impossible to not give that 7th round to Golovkin. It really is.
Well, you know, there's always that. Look, man. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not. But why is there always that one judge in Canelo fights? Just like there was always that one judge in Chavez fights. Remember when he got outboxed by Frankie Randolph, but one judge, even with a knockdown, still gave that fight to Chavez, right?
Yeah.
And there was always that one judge with De La Hoya. There's always that one judge
because somebody's getting paid. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, because somebody's getting paid.
Coincidence. It just happened.
Right. Somebody's getting paid. Man. That's the deal. It has to be. I mean, you cannot.
C.J. Ross. Remember C.J. Ross?
Oh, don't bring up C.J. Ross. She was a good judge. What are you doing?
Yeah, 114 for Mayweather.
I'm just saying.
Right.
I had it the same way. I'm just saying. I'm the only guy that'll ever admit to that. I had it the same way. Sorry.
Well, everyone has a bad night, even you, Eric.
Anybody, look, if you score boxing long enough, you're going to find yourself in the minority here and there. It's going to happen.
Yeah,
okay?
Absolutely.
I'm like, you know, some people think I'm crazy. I gave Gennady Golovkin the first round, okay?
I gave it to him also. I do too.
I don't think any of the judges give him first round. But it's at the end of the day, though, when I looked at this, when I was watching this fight, I had cousins of mine that are Canelo fans trying to call me and ask me, Canelo won, right? You know, that they weren't too sure about it. Like when your guy wins, you don't have to sweat it. You know he won. You know, it's So it's pretty clear that everybody, in my opinion anyway, knows he did not win this fight. Okay, I don't have a problem with the draw. What I have a problem with, and we laugh about it, about that one judge, but it's an injustice to me that at least one of those judges had no intention whatsoever of giving that fight to Gennady Golovkin. Like, what did Gennady Golovkin have? Did he have to walk on water to revive the dead? Well, what did he have to do to win a round?
Give the judge a better offer. That's what he had to do.
No. What I said last week, it was simple. The only way that Triple G could clearly win this fight is if he knocked out Canelo, especially in Las Vegas.
Yeah, it turns
well, there's
out
always
right.
Texas, and there's other places, but
right, exactly. Insert city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I don't want to take too much more of you guys' time. I appreciate this.
A good call.
I do gotta get going.
Good call.
All right, guys. Peace out.
All right, man. Thank you, D-Style.
All right.
All right. Let's go to 347. 347, you're live. 347. Or maybe you're not. Going once, twice.
We're going to knock out another one.
All right. Wow. 347. They were waiting a while, too. That sucks. Sucks to be you, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah, hey, guys, if you're on hold and you're just listening, just please let us know.
Yeah. Robert laying down the hammer here on Ringside Reporter.
There you go.
813, you're live. 706, we're coming. I see you in the chat. We're coming. 813,
hey guys,
though.
Can you hear me?
Yes, man.
Yeah,
yes.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to call in real quick and say that this is a disgrace to boxing. It was a complete robbery. And I don't know what's in Henrap said. He's completely crazy.
Very good.
Sorry,
man.
guys, I'm working out.
All right, man.
All right.
Have a good one, man. That's awesome. Yeah, so he said hand wraps is crazy. Was a disgrace to boxing. Hey, can't disagree. Can't disagree. All right, 706. 706, you're live. What's happening?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, loud and clear. Go ahead.
So I thought Oscar and all these Aryan people were saying Mayweather and McGregor is the one that's going to kill boxing, is bad for boxing. And
Yeah.
now we have this circle.
Who would have thought? Yeah, who
What do
would
you
have
guys
thought?
think was worse for boxing? What'd you say?
I said, yeah, who would have thought?
Actually,
Yeah, this would have been the worst one. Yeah.
Actually, to answer your question honestly, last night was worse for boxing.
It was.
When you have a judge do this, okay? There's no excuse for that.
Did you see the dozens of NFL and NBA athletes like saying boxing is rigged, and like dozens of UFC athletes tweeting it? Like everybody's saying the exact same thing. Boxing is rigged. Like the exact same word.
Everybody. Yeah.
No,
not one person.
Adalaide Byrd made boxing look bad, and unfortunately,
I don't blame Adalaide Byrd. I don't blame Adalaide Byrd at all. She was there for a reason. She was brought there for a reason, just like C.J. Ross was brought there for a reason. Just like was Adalaide Byrd? Did she do the Jeff Horn fight for Manny?
Is she?
I
don't think she did. I don't know.
They didn't have Australian judges. They had all neutral judges. They didn't have even one Australian judge. I remember that.
Yeah.
So
I don't think she was there.
Canelo and Floyd fight. I don't blame any of the judges. I just blame these promoters. Like, I didn't buy the Chavez fight or this fight, so I saved like $160 on the Golden Boy scans. So I'm pretty happy about that. I hope a lot of people are going to be doing that coming up. And that undercard was garbage. That was like Fox Sports 1 level fights on there.
Horrible undercard. That was like the worst undercard I've seen in a long time.
Those
That was very
undercard
disappointing.
was not worth the money for sure. The undercard was not worth the money.
They never have any. They never have good
Awful.
undercards. Like when, like Lemieux versus Reyes was the last one. That was shit too. I didn't like that
You know, the best, I'll tell you what, the best undercard I've seen in a long time, and you're going to laugh at me, was the Mayweather undercard. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was very
Canelo?
entertaining.
Mayweather Canelo.
No,
Mayweather Canelo
McGregor.
undercard?
I thought Mayweather McGregor's card was pretty good. They had good fighters on there. They had pretty good fights. They had name recognized fighters on
Jack
there.
Cleverly and Tank.
Right. I mean, why not? I mean, that was a good undercard, and then you get this undercard.
What do you think would happen? What do you think it would happen if Tank and Jojo Diaz locked horns? I think Tank would destroy him.
Jojo Diaz is not that good. I don't see a lot. I mean, Gary Russell's going to murk him, man.
First of all,
yeah, they're different weight class. I know.
No, first of all, Jojo Diaz is going to regret the day he ever became the mandatory for Gary Russell. Gary Russell's going to take that boy to school.
Yeah, Russell's going to walk them down. Russell's a friend of the show.
But I don't, because they've been Linares has been ducking Mikey, so I doubt they're gonna do the same thing. They're probably gonna postpone this as long as they can, if they can. I don't know.
Linares could lose to
Campbell next.
He could lose Campbell. That's not an easy fight for him.
And then a gimme, yeah.
But Robert Garcia's been saying for almost a year that Golden Boy told him they're not gonna let Mikey. They're not gonna let Mikey fight Linares unless he signs like a 3-fight deal with them and shit. So I wonder if that's even gonna ever happen. And oh yeah, so nobody remembers who the judges were for Manny versus Orton? I forgot to.
Oh yeah, you know what? Let me look this up here.
And they definitely get paid $1,500. Eric, the judges for Floyd versus McGregor got $10K each, and the referee got like $15K.
Did they really?
Or was it $5K?
I remember. All right.
Yeah,
now,
it was either.
I'm about to go deep here now. All right, I remember for the Lennox Lewis Evander Holyfield fight when it took place in New York, those judges got $1,500 each.
I'm right. There was like five. It was either $7,500 or $10,000 for these judges for McGregor and Mayweather. I remember reading.
I got to get into judging, man. I got to get into judging, make a name for myself, get some money. All right.
I wonder if that was the same.
I think all three of us are to go sign up for that job because we did a better job of scoring this fight than one of the actual judges.
I think I did. You other two, you guys left a lot to be desired, but myself, I think I did pretty well.
Jojo Diaz is kind of like what Shakur Stevenson is going to be to me. That's what it seems like. Shakur Stevenson is kind of going to be like that.
Well, let's go.
Don't get me wrong. I like Jojo Diaz, but he's going to get totally taken to school by Gary Russell. He's not ready for that level of competition.
Right. Well, Oleska Roldan, Chris Flores, and Ramon Cerdan were the judges for Manny Pacquiao, Jeff Horn.
Okay.
Because I remember
no American judges.
Oleska from New York.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That shady Sean Gibbons guy was in that ring over there. If you guys know who that is. Do you guys know who that is?
Who?
No.
Sean Gibbons? No.
Sean Gibbons?
Who is Sean Gibbons?
I don't know who that is.
That was one of the matchmakers for Top Rank when they were investigated by the FBI. He was fired.
He sounds familiar. I know he sounded familiar.
They were investigated for.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can Google him.
That's funny.
You can Google him and the FBI investigation Top Rank. Most people don't talk about that shit. What are the next fights? Are there any good fights you guys are looking forward to?
We got to look at them.
Well,
we've got the section coming up, man. Yeah, we got it coming up here. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Who is it? Who's fighting?
Well, we got Luke Campbell and Jorge Linares fighting, and we'll go over all that in a few minutes here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's next week.
All right.
Did we ever get new pay-per-view numbers for Mayweather McGregor after that 6.7 thing?
6.5 million. Uncle Dana, listen. Uncle Dana told me it was 6.5 million. We got to believe him.
That was probably global.
Whatever it was, man.
I tweeted him yesterday and asked him for the numbers, man.
I called him.
He hasn't tweeted me.
He called me up. He was the one that told me 6.5 million, man. Uncle Dana. Look at my profile picture.
I got to call the Nevada State Athletic Commission for 2 questions then. About Adalaide Byrd and what was the Mayweather-McGregor numbers?
Nice.
Did you guys see Marcos Madonna's new picture? How big he's looking?
Yeah. Did you see that?
Yeah, he's ripped.
Did you catch that? Did you catch that picture?
He looks ripped, man.
He looks ripped. He looks about as ripped as I do. I tell you that.
Would you guys be surprised in 3 or 4 years McGregor started looking like that? Would you be surprised? I wouldn't be at all.
No, not at all. Not at all, man.
Right? Not
that guy. Yeah,
he loves
it.
He's drinking.
Living it up, baby.
I see pictures of him drinking, smoking cigars, and joints on his freaking Instagram. He's posting all that shit.
I'm not hating on it. I'm not hating. Good for him, man.
I'm not
He had
hating
a
on it,
rough
but,
career, man. Some good fights, man. Living up now. At least he's got all his faculties and everything. At least hopefully he does. Got some money.
Hope he doesn't start doing that. Haddon, he reminds me of Haddon. Kind of.
Haddon, that's right.
He's kind of crazy like Haddon.
Very good.
All
All
right,
right,
I'll let you guys
man.
go. Good show,
All
guys.
right. Thank you, sir. All right. We're going to go to 619 here. I think this is Chakal, but I'm not sure. 619, you're live.
Yeah, I bet you it is.
Hello?
Hello.
Barely.
It's a very
yeah,
horrible
yeah, it's,
connection, man.
Okay, I'm gonna try. Can you hear me better?
Yeah.
That's better.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm called. Yeah, I'm down in Tijuana. I got a San Diego a cell phone number.
Okay.
I watched
What's your name?
the fight about a few times, and
who
what
are
I
you
have
speaking
to
with?
say was, can you hear me?
Who
are we talking
speaking with?
Gonzalo. My name is Gonzalo.
Gonzalo. Okay.
Oh, what's up, Gonzalo? How you doing?
All right. Oh, we lost you. There we go.
Yeah, I watched the fight a few times, and I have to say, after watching it a few times, I'm a Triple G fan. Yeah, personally, I like his demeanor. He's humble, and Canelo is, he's a little arrogant, especially with that comment he made after the fight with the Mexicans booed. So well, as far as that, I watched that's that. But as far as the fight, I watched it a few times, and Abel Sanchez said that he didn't anticipate Canelo running a lot. Well, what is it? He ran, but he also leaned up against the ropes. So that's where Gennady Golovkin could have taken full advantage of Canelo being on the ropes. And as far as Canelo's reflexes and his punch output, maybe he fought in bursts, but he was able to negate what Triple G was doing by slipping Golovkin's
Gonzalo, man, if you can hear me, you're really breaking up bad.
That connection is horrible.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. You're really breaking up bad. We can't hear you, sir. Sorry about that, buddy. Let's go to 978. You are live.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
We're doing good.
Hello?
Yes.
Welcome
good
to
to
the show.
First time caller. I enjoyed the show.
Massachusetts, 978, baby.
Just want to go over the fight. I've been just watching all the YouTube videos on people's comment on the fight and just hearing what you guys talk about today. And it's like, I think just that scorecard, the 110, 118, just is taking over the whole conversation. I still feel like if the card was closer, we should just be talking about like who was it a close fight or not. I think is in my scorecard I had it very close. I mean, I had some swing rounds and some Canelo rounds and some Triple G rounds. So
hey, let me jump in here for a minute because that's a fair point. That's a fair point. And I saw people talking about this in the chat. Beeb, what do you think of that? What do you think of that? He says, the scorecard was 118, 110, but if she had it 115, 113 for Canelo, would it have made a
90
difference?
seconds.
Probably not.
I'm thinking it would. I'm saying yes, it would. Because like I said,
be
we
like
could
a
have made a
controversy
case for
thinking?
that. No, I don't think. I mean, yeah, well, there would have been a controversy either way because everybody and their mother just about on press row had Triple G winning this fight largely by 116, 112 was the common score.
That was the common score, yeah.
But most people had Triple G winning the fight. So there was a controversy. But again, I could make the argument. Like I said,
seconds.
With Robert having that score as 115, 113, we all look on there and we can all make that argument. But I think it's the fact that it was so blatant, 118 to 110. It's so blatant the other way. I know. Those things like, what are you doing?
But I think that should be for another show, only because what we're so caught up with that judge is just we're not talking about
even though it's about the fight, I think it's sidelining the whole fight as a general.
No,
Would I talk
sure.
about what if we're talking about corruption in boxing? I think we should not say for another show, but it should be like a different topic about corruption in boxing and scoring. We should be. I think you guys are very. I mean, I listen to Beeb. I listen to all you guys, and you guys are, even though you have different. Obviously, you guys have different.
10 seconds.
And I would very much appreciate if you guys would do a show on a specific fight that we could all agree on how the scoring should be managed and what people should be looking for, because a lot of fans are not really educated on it. I mean, I'll confess I might not be educated on it because I'm seeing the score. I'm thinking I agree with Beeb on the fact that I thought Canelo was, even though he was moving backwards, I feel like he was having his way. I didn't see. I was listening to people saying Triple G cut off the ring. I didn't see him cutting off the ring like people were saying. I mean, I was watching the fight, on HD, and I'm seeing the jabs. He wasn't jabbing Canelo on the rope to hurt him. He was trying to make sure. He was very precautious. He was trying to make sure he had him. So he was a very faint jabs, in order to catch him with a big punch. So if you could tell by like Canelo's face. I mean, he was getting hit in that hard. I mean, all those punches they were more like range fighting punches. Even when he had them on the ropes, it's not the same Triple G I'm used to seeing. I'm a huge Triple G fan. I mean, I don't know. I just didn't see this. Yeah, he was moving forward, but that's what Triple G does. I expect him to move forward. But I expect when he gets you in the rope, he gets you out of there. But he didn't do that.
Well, I think a lot of that had to do with Canelo, too.
I would really
definitely a faster fighter.
I would really appreciate if you guys did a show on scoring. I think it probably not get a lot of viewers, but I would be listening, and I want to know exactly what am I missing, and what a lot of people are missing, too.
It's a great idea. I think we will. That's definitely a good idea.
Yeah. Oh, we're just gonna keep having these scorecards, and different people calling in saying different stuff. But as far as the fight goes, just to not take too much of your time because I really got to go. But I really love the show. It's a breath of fresh air. But I just felt like it was a great fight, and I expected, and I think the only reason why Canelo is not able to beat Triple G is because Canelo has stamina issue. Because the hand speed is there, the movement is better. I mean, the head movement is better. Triple G clearly doesn't move his head. I mean, he moves back, but doesn't move his head because he knows he got the gun. He's the only person with the missile in that ring, so he's moving forward. But like the hand speed is clearly on Canelo's side. Canelo has a stamina issue, and Golovkin knows it, and it's like he putting constant pressure on him. But that, to me, that if Canelo had better stamina, I think it wouldn't be that close of a fight. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Who knows?
But I had Triple G winning 8-4. But I just felt like I'm watching him. Like if I was a boxer, who would I prefer to be? If I was a fighter, yeah, I prefer to be Triple G based on power. But as far as slickness and hand speed, I mean that's clearly Canelo. That's not been. I don't think anyone could doubt that. He just had a shape. But I listen to the rest of you guys comment. Again, love the show. Keep doing what you guys are doing. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much.
That's a Massachusetts caller right there, 978.
Look at that. He's gonna be part of Beeb Industry soon.
Yeah, we'll get him on payroll.
We'll get him on the payroll. All right. It's past the witching hour here, which means it's past 9 o'clock. So we're going to run through the undercards. We're not going to say too much about them, but we're not going to break them down. But we'll go through, give you the winners here. Joseph Diaz Jr. versus Rafael Rivera, 12 rounds. WBC featherweight eliminator. The winner, unfortunately, gets to fight Gary Russell Jr. Joseph Diaz wins a boring decision, 119, 109 twice, and 120 to 108. Again, I didn't think it was a great fight. And I don't think Joseph Diaz has much of a chance. I tell you, it was a pretty good fight. Diego De La Hoya finally getting some run from his cousin Oscar or Uncle Oscar, I guess. I don't know. Diego De La Hoya versus cousin. There you go. De La Hoya versus Randy Caballero, 10 rounds, junior featherweights. De La Hoya wins. Unanimous decision, 100-90, 98-92, and 98-92. Caballero was really in there. He gutted it out. I thought he was really good, man. Did a really good job in there. Ryan Blue Chip Martin.
And by the way, I don't think he's blue chip. I've never been impressed with him every time I've seen him fight. You know, I'm just putting it out there.
Absolutely. Francisco Rojo. Martin wins a split decision, 95-94, 96-93, and the other judge had it for Martin, 98-91, or had it for Rojas, 98-91.
Yeah.
Across the pond, Billy Joe Saunders versus Willie Monroe. The other middleweight title was on the line. Saunders WBO middleweight title. Saunders wins a unanimous decision, 117-111, 115-114, and 117-112. Willie Monroe just never got started in this. I mean, he got started late, and he came on a little bit late, but I tell you, man, I don't know, man. He just Saunders was aggressive, a little bit more aggressive than him. You have a feeling that if Willie Monroe was a little bit more aggressive, he could have made a difference in the fight, but just wasn't to be. So
Yeah.
There you go. Which leads us to Beeb. It's time.
Brianna. Train wreck of the week. Let's go. Hurry up. Hurry up. Let's go.
Chugga.
Good job.
There it is.
All right.
Billy Joe Saunders and Willie Monroe squared off at the weigh-in. That's when things got really awkward. Billy Joe Saunders' little boy stood on the scale between the two fighters. Willie Monroe Jr. warmly said hello to the little boy and patted him on the head and say, "Hey, man, how you doing? What's up, little fella?" It was at that point Billy Joe Saunders' little boy hauled off and punched Willie Monroe Jr. right in the willy. Security immediately stepped in. He kicked him, and he also kicked him. Security immediately stepped in and moved the boy away. The boy's 7 years old. The boy is 7 years old. Billy Joe Saunders seemed oblivious to the incident and just kept posing at the weigh-in. To make matters worse, Billy Joe Saunders took to Twitter to justify the incident. He said, "My son's been taught when a stranger puts their hands on them, they don't know. They don't know. You know, if a stranger puts their hands on them, they don't know. Punch and run away in self-defense." After the fight, Saunders gave the microphone to his 7-year-old son, who was responsible for the incident. The son apologized by saying, "I'm sorry for hitting you in the nuts." Wow. That is top-notch parenting for Billy Joe Saunders. He must be very proud. Unbelievable.
We gotta. I think we have to feed Billy Joe Saunders to Daniel Jacobs. That's his punishment.
Either that or Triple G, one of the two, man. I'll tell you what.
There you go.
God, what a banger. He's not. Yeah, he might as well keep the boxing. He's not a great parent, you know. So there you go.
Jeez.
Speaking of parenting, I want to wish my daughter Elena a very happy 9th birthday. She just turned 9 this weekend, so happy birthday, sweetie.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Steve.
Back to boxing. Anthony Yard versus Norbert Nemasapati. Yard is coming in with a lot of hype over in England. Yard demolished Nemasapati, easy for me to say. After the third round, the fight was stopped. A lot of people are asking Yard to go up in competition, so I think we'll see a better opponent in his next fight. The World Super Series of Boxing, the World Boxing Super Series, Callum Smith versus Eric Skoglund. Once again, not televised in the U.S. I have no idea why. But Callum Smith won by the scores of 116-112, 117-110, and 117-111. Smith, with the win, claimed the vacant WBC Diamond Belt, which, of course, means absolutely nothing.
That's right.
It's a pretty belt, though.
It is a pretty belt. Very nice belt. Did you see the belt for the Canelo fight? The Canelo and Triple G fight? Wow, what a nice belt.
Now, because Triple G was the champion, does he get that belt, or does that belt go in escrow?
They should. I don't see why not.
Yeah.
I mean, what else are they going to do? Is just hang in their museum or whatever? You know, maybe they'll send it to us. We can give it to a listener. All right, September 19th, upcoming fights on PBC on Fox Sports from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Mario Barrios versus Naeem Nelson, 10 rounds junior welterweights. Stephen Fulton versus Adam Lopez, 8 rounds featherweights. Wow, I cannot wait to not watch that one. September 22nd, ESPN, Oscar Valdez versus Genesis Cervania, 12 rounds for Valdez's WBO featherweight title. And Gilberto Ramirez returns against Jesse Hart. I love this fight for Ramirez's WBO super middleweight title. Michael Conlon also on the undercard versus Kenny Guzman, 6 rounds featherweights. I love it. Love it. That's a pretty good fight. Not crazy about the main event, but I like the other two. September 23rd from Inglewood, California, or as Robbie calls it, the Wood. Jorge Linares.
The fabulous form, by the way.
Jorge Linares versus Luke Campbell, 12 rounds for Linares' WBA lightweight title. On the undercard, Antonio Orozco versus Robert Ortiz, 10 rounds, junior welterweights. I tell you what, I like this fight. I like this fight a lot. And I think Luke Campbell's got a real shot here. I don't know if he wins, but I think he's got a real shot. Beeb?
No, I think this is going to be very competitive. And it would not surprise me if Luke Campbell walks out of California with the title.
Yeah.
He's a 3-1 underdog, and he is definitely worth a value play.
The value
definitely is.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you, man. From San Antonio, and again, no television listed here. Junior Dorticos versus Dmitry Kudashayev, 12 rounds for Dorticos' WBA regular cruiserweight title. Again, this is a World Boxing Super Series quarterfinal. No television yet.
Awesome.
What is he doing
Eric,
over there?
I did hear.
He's working with Eddie Hearn.
I did hear that Showtime had a deal in place, but for whatever reason, I don't know whether they didn't get the money worked out, but Showtime ended up pulling out of the deal. I guess because they get paid or whatever.
Eddie likes to have that money up front, so Eddie likes to have that money up front before he makes any moves. So I don't blame him.
Money up front, yeah. You know it's Eddie Hearn making those deals because they're not getting done. That's how you know it's him. Nonito Donaire versus Ruben Garcia, 10 rounds featherweight. It's also on that undercard that you won't see. So there you go. Let's see. Money Powell also on that undercard. From Manchester, England. Integrated Sports pay-per-view. So stream this one. Joseph Parker versus Hughie Fury. 12 rounds for Parker's WBO heavyweight title. Who do you like in that one?
Oh,
I like Fury. I like Fury.
That's a tough one. You put a gun to my head, I'm going to say.
But my question, Eric, is Hughie going to do what Tyson did after he wins?
Don't be negative all the time.
You're very negative, Robert. You're very negative. You're very negative, Robert.
I have faith in the Fury family.
Yeah, they're gypsies.
No? But I give Joseph Parker credit. He stayed active, unlike somebody else we know.
I know.
Oh, what's the matter with you?
Let's talk about this. Let's just chime in with one quick note there. The Deontay Wilder Luis Ortiz fight is set for November 4th.
Yeah,
Aren't you guys happy about that?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's move on to the news and rumors. Let's talk about that here. Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz is set for November 4th in the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Daniel Jacobs and Sergey Lipinets will also be on the card in separate fights. The fights will be broadcast on Showtime Championship Boxing. This would be Wilder's biggest challenge to date. Luis Ortiz is from Cuba, has a record of 27-0, 23 knockouts. The WBC #1 contender, Bermane Stavern, said, I will not take step-aside money to make this fight happen. They showed up with a briefcase full of money, and he's going to make this fight happen. He stepped aside, so there you go. What do you think of this fight, Beeb?
I think it's a great fight. I think they threw in 2 tickets to Hollywood for Bermane Stavern. That's what pushed him over the edge. But, I like Wilder in this fight. I know a lot of people like Ortiz. I think Ortiz has a problem. He's starting to slow down a little bit, and it's going to be hard for Ortiz, I think, to kind of gauge Wilder in this fight because Wilder is so. You can, no matter what you want to say about Wilder, he does pretty well with guys who are smaller than him. It's like the Gerald Washingtons of the world who are kind of tall and rangy themselves. and can fight well on the outside. He's going to have a problem with those guys a little bit. Anthony Joshua, another big, tall, rangy guy who can fight well on the outside. But Ortiz is a guy who likes to suck you in close and get you up close. And I think Ortiz is going to have problems with Wilder's jab. That's one thing I think Wilder's improved on is his jab. And that he's also, and I think he throws it in a lot of different variety of ways. He's found creative ways to land that punch. That he can even shorten it up on the inside and generate a lot of power with it. And the lead right hand is going to be problematic for Ortiz, who's a southpaw. I think Ortiz is going to have a hard time countering Wilder because Wilder is very awkward, and also the size of Wilder. I think that Ortiz is going to have some problems in this fight. I'm going to go with Wilder. I think Wilder knocks him out.
Do you think Wilder will have some problems with this fight because Louis Ortiz can actually fight?
It could be interesting early on, but I think at some point in this fight, I can see Wilder. I just see Wilder landing that big right hand and putting him out.
I don't think they would take Louis Ortiz, but I think Louis Ortiz wins a lot of rounds early. I think Wilder's not going to win a decision here. He's got to knock him out.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Ortiz goes like first.
Louis Ortiz is going to show up ring, though.
He hasn't looked good lately.
He hasn't looked good at all lately. I've never been with him. I really have.
Let's be honest. Outside of that fight with Brian Jennings, name one other great performance from him.
Right. I've never been impressed with Louis Ortiz. Brian Jennings was the biggest win of his career. It's the only one I've ever been impressed.
And after that,
70.
What's his name?
7.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, that's okay. 70,000 tickets already sold for Anthony Joshua and Kubrat Pulev. A record-breaking 70,000 tickets sold.
That's impressive.
How crazy is that, right?
That is really impressive.
Principality Stadium in Cardiff on October 28th, live on Sky Sports.
And remember, his last fight, they got 90,000 for. So, he's the man.
So he's decreasing in popularity by 20,000 people.
We got to give Eddie Hearn credit for promoting this guy fabulously. I mean, this guy is selling tickets like hotcakes.
So now let me ask you guys this. This is interesting here. So everyone talks about Canelo, but is Joshua the biggest star in boxing right now?
Absolutely.
Yes. Well,
you got to think about pay-per-view.
A close second to Canelo. I think he's a close second to Canelo.
But can you imagine once this pay-per-view thing gets set? All right, once this pay-per-view thing gets set, I mean that's when he starts fighting like high caliber, where he's got like pay-per-view fights on the horizon.
If he comes to the United States, it's game over. It's game over.
Son.
It's game over.
He's already the guy. I think he's already the guy, man. Nobody's talking about it, but I think he's the guy. Robert, do you think he's the guy?
For example, say they put Joshua and Wilder on pay-per-view. How does that do in the States?
I think it's pretty big.
It's 1.5.
He's got to do press in the States, though. He's got to make the rounds. That's what he's got to do. He's got to get,
Put him on Showtime pay-per-view, man. That'll be a good move.
That's something, but you know what? Eddie Hearn is not smart, but if he were smart, that's something AJ.
Oh, he's a genius. He's a genius.
That's something.
He's got it's in the works. It's in the works for next year.
We've already talked about it.
It's in the works. Yeah, right. Okay.
Wow. He can't even get this thing on US TV. He can't even get a TV deal. You know what he heard?
I know. He'll be on Showtime. That'll be on Showtime, Eric.
Yeah. Well, I heard that who was it? Somebody was saying that Eddie Hearn wanted to make a deal with HBO for everybody except Anthony Joshua because he's locked up in Showtime.
Yeah, well, Joshua's got an exclusive deal with Showtime. That's why.
You big dummy. And all those other.
I mean, Showtime took care of us. We couldn't pass that up.
They took care of us. Vasyl Lomachenko versus Guillermo Rigondeaux is set. Top Rank has stated that Lomachenko-Rigondeaux will fight on December 9th. At Madison Square Garden on ESPN. Everybody dumps on this fight. I love it. I think it's going to be a very technical fight. I think it's going to be a great fight, man. I got to give the edge to Lomachenko just because he's the bigger guy. That's it. Nobody can hit Rigo, man. I'll be real interested to see what they do to, how this fight plays out. And yeah, it has a chance to be a very boring fight, but I think, if you appreciate, defense and that kind of thing, you're going to love this fight, man.
Yeah. It's a good fight.
I love it. That'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Robert on Twitter at Ringside Robert or call Ringside Robbie's Corner at 917-259-1810. Leave him a message. You can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at JHabib1 and find his YouTube channel on beatingtheoddswithbeeb.com. I'm at Ringside 73, and we'll see you next week.
Deuces.